When it all started with a bizarre advertisement, did this desperate man really want a second chance? A revolutionary game called Nine Heavens had just launched, built on mind-bending technology. It used nerve fusion to grant players absolute, unfiltered freedom of action. People could fly, fight, and do whatever they wanted. Better yet, it offered something else. An insane opportunity to build a massive business empire and strike it rich overnight. But the real kicker was the game's high-tech virtual reality helmet. It could actually heal his damaged nerves and restore his broken physical body. Our paralyzed protagonist stared at the screen, utterly transfixed. For months, he had heard endless whispers about how this legendary game could change lives. The moment the game finally launched, it turned the entire country completely upside down. This young man named Lamar prayed that the massive hype was actually real. Lamar lived with his younger sister, once working as a completely ordinary office employee with great prospects. He had a solid salary and a promising future, but a horrific accident changed everything in a flash. To keep him alive, his family spent every penny and sold everything they owned. They sold off all their belongings, but the results were utterly devastating. Lamar ended up completely paralyzed, only able to move his head and one single arm. He became a helpless burden to his sister and a total outcast to society. Neighbors constantly whispered about how hard it was for a young girl to support him. Lamar felt only bitter disappointment, but his devoted sister never lost hope in him. He hated dragging her down and was about to make a tragic choice. He was ready to end his life to free them both, right when the game launched. And honestly, the rumors floating around about Nine Heavens were absolutely wild. They said that players experienced unbelievable physical transformations after diving in. Some had supposedly even gained superhuman abilities. What really caught Lamar's attention was that paralyzed players could actually walk again. The virtual world promised to restore full physical mobility, making broken bodies completely whole once again. He threw away his dark plans, betting everything on this world. Later that day, he sat in his room, filled with nervous anticipation. His sister sent a message saying she had to work late, urging him to eat first. Since they were dead broke, he could not afford a brand new gaming helmet. He settled for a cheap, second-hand gaming helmet, praying desperately that it would actually function. Lamar desperately needed this gamble to work. His entire life depended on it. Booting it up, a gentle voice greeted him. The system guide officially welcomed him inside, instructing him to link his personal credentials. He entered his identification number, and the guide immediately unlocked the very first zone. This starting area was called the Mortal Heaven, a completely free zone filled with secrets. But when Lamar finally looked at his custom avatar, his jaw completely dropped. He had never seen anything like this in any of the game's official trailers or announcements. In normal online games, players typically start out as basic, standard humans. Instead, he stood there in absolute disbelief. Talk about a brutal plot twist. He had spawned as a wild beast, with no trace of standard classes like swordsmen. He was a literal wolf. How was he supposed to level up and earn money like this? He could not even figure out how to open his main character profile. Fortunately, after messing around with the standard menu settings, the status screen finally popped up for him. Even so, he stared at his stats in disbelief. He had actually become a beast. He was a werewolf with pretty bad stats, just 29 base damage. Then he realized something huge. He could actually move around in this body. Lamar felt like this physical shell truly belonged to him. He had to test things out. Testing out his speed, the young man felt an incredible sense of absolute freedom, something he had not experienced in the real world for a very long time. Nearby players notice a werewolf howling right in the middle of the day. Some girls find this beast weak and creepy, telling the monster to get lost already. Nobody wants a freak around. He did not expect being ugly to be this tough. At least snagging some basic rookie clothes is pretty easy, which is a massive relief to him. He is just glad to be in the game. Meanwhile, those girls want his weapon. They hope he drops his wooden bat, which is worth 300 dragon coins. That is a rare item you cannot easily buy even with cash. Lamar is totally shocked. He did not expect it to be so valuable, and honestly, it is a bummer. He cannot sell it. Suddenly, one girl notices that the beast actually has high damage stats. Other players immediately want to gang up and take him down. He cannot just stand there. He remembers that wild monsters can actually fight back. Those werewolves can aggro. Suddenly, the girls hear a loud growling sound. A A whole horde of angry werewolves appears, furious that their brother is being jumped. They hate seeing humans beat up their kin. The players are completely caught off guard. Facing about 10 furious monsters at once, this is a brutal setup. The beasts tear into the players, who cannot handle the sheer numbers. Lamar realizes that being a non-human monster actually has some crazy perks. When a werewolf finishes a player, he gets 10 aura points and a reputation point. This is an awesome surprise. The rewards are actually pretty incredible. Hunting players is highly profitable, and now he is hungry for more kills. He repeatedly hunts them down, farming skill points and building his monster reputation. But his health is dropping. Where can a beast buy healing potions? He figures they must be hidden inside the prestige shop or something. Checking the menu, he finds absolutely no blood-replenishing potions in there. Maybe werewolves are banned from buying them. He needs to upgrade his talents. He checks the game guides. Normally, players do not get talents early on. But Lamar is different. He holds a unique weapon and some very special shards. He actually possesses an evolution shard and an attack stat way higher than normal players. Since he is a rogue werewolf, he can hunt literally anyone for massive points. He silently apologizes to his monster kin, then readies his weapon. Lamar starts slaughtering other werewolves. Since they are allies, they do not retaliate. He hunts down every last beastman in the area, feeling a bit guilty. He says sorry, but he has to do this for the sake of his own survival. The werewolf drops a brand new evolution shard. He can sell it or consume it. Choosing to upgrade, he taunts the remaining monsters to step up and fight. As they clash, his raw base stats finally begin to skyrocket. His physical form mutates, and his raw power multiplies instantly. Lamar is thrilled with this monster body. The sheer realism of the game is mind-blowing. But as he inspects his sharp claws, a human voice suddenly echoes nearby. He freezes, completely unsure of how to react, as a group of players walks right up. They were a gang of players who heard that even without proper equipment, they could easily rip a victim's clothes with a bat swing, though nobody thought it was true. Meanwhile, the targeted girl honestly couldn't fathom why these bullies acted so incredibly petty. It was a game, but this trashy behavior was just way too much. Back in reality, her friend was ready to forcefully disconnect her from the dive. But the host begged her not to, terrified of receiving a heavy penalty. A 3-hour ban would ruin the promotional contract she had just signed. One bully sneered, teasing her because he heard players could use highly realistic avatars. He kept making creepy remarks about her physical build, totally crossing the line. Then action, our main hero sprinted right in and struck them down. Lamar couldn't wrap his head around why so many toxic trash mobs spawned here. The thugs instantly swarmed, ready to murder the interfering jackal in cold blood. However, the werewolf was unexpectedly strong, shredding through their defense with brutal claw strikes. Using scavenged health potions, fighting 3 players was easy. No contest, our wolf easily ripped through everyone standing in his way. Lamar only felt disappointed that each fallen target only dropped 1 healing bottle. Meanwhile, the rescued girl stared in absolute shock at what just happened. It was almost hard to believe a wild monster had saved her life. She offered him some potions as thanks, catching Lamar completely off guard. Honestly, he originally wanted to slice her up too, just for extra experience. The werewolf growled a polite thank you, shocking her since she didn't know monsters spoke. Out of nowhere, her producer messaged to ask if she was ready for the ad. Lamar realized that hordes of real players were already flooding the local area. Since the newbie village was close, attracting too much attention would guarantee constant fights. Better back off, he needed to quietly farm the surrounding areas. While doing that, he decided to pull up the game's official promotional video. He wanted to spy on player tactics while checking out the massive launch event. To his absolute surprise, the girl he saved was actually the show's main host. Her massive experience points were impressive, but playing as a jackal felt way cooler. Plus, slaying each of these werewolves rewarded him with 10 aura points. And guess what? He also secured a rare talent evolution shard. Lamar realized he needed 10 more level 0 shards to upgrade his talent. Level up, he officially unlocked the basic werewolf bloodline option. He successfully unlocked a neat 6% double strike critical hit chance. Oddly though, those low-level shards were only awarded at level 0. To evolve any further, he now had to farm 10 level 1 shards. After fusing 10 shards to trigger the level 0 evolution, he hit a massive roadblock. Obtaining 100 shards for every single species was going to be tough. He had to seek out highly dangerous monsters to secure those next-level shards. First, he wanted to test his raw power on some ordinary jackals. Farming was easy, he leveled up without a scratch on his gear. But then his eyes locked onto an incredibly intimidating beast roaming nearby. It was a highly dangerous, level 1 opponent that he desperately wanted to devour. Relying on his handy level 2 healing skill, Lamar decided to take a gamble and challenge the colossal monster. The target was massive, but he was fully prepared to fight. Taking heavy damage, the hero retreats after battling a monster far larger than Lamar. Using every trick in the book, the werewolf defeats the creature in just 5 minutes. He survived by downing a recovery potion mid-fight, and guess what? He finally secures a level 1 quality evolution shard from the fallen beast. He also scores a shabby jackal bat after mastering a brand new outfit. He immediately puts his old weapon up for 300 coins online. Browsing the item store, he finds other listings, totaling under 100. The current weapon is not cutting it, so he bids 260 coins. Hoping to complete the deal, the young man hands over his old bat to the system. Suddenly, a letter arrives. He opens it without hesitation. He accepts the offer, successfully selling the bat with a tiny 5% fee. This nets him 247 coins, directly transferred into his account. Eager to confirm the cash, he quickly checks the text notification on his phone. He is thrilled to see his real-life bank account grow by 247 coins. Finally, he is proving he is no longer a burden, earning cash for his disabled older brother. Now completely convinced the guides were right, he sees a golden opportunity. The 9 Heavens holds endless business opportunities. The werewolf dives back into the hunt, sparing absolutely no effort or time. In just 10 minutes, he slaughters a massive pack of wild beasts. Finally reaching level 3, his attack, health, and defensive stats shoot right up. He pities players who struggled to kill 20 jackals and 1 strong boss. They barely got any loot, but he is already aiming for level 2 monsters. He enters the next zone, immediately spotting 5 fast-moving jackals. 2 of them are level 2, while the remaining 3 are level 3. He figures if these are an easy warm-up, he can clean out the rest. But wait, a jackal survives and strikes him right back. Fortunately for him, the beast's actual attack power seems pretty weak. He continues fighting, realizing it hits only slightly harder than level 1 mobs. Dealing with the annoying beast, he learns agility dictates their attack speed. Their speed is high, but their actual damage output is totally laughable. Since his stats easily tank the hits, he hunts them down one by one. Lamar confidently keeps grinding against these agile level 2 monsters. After 40 minutes of hard grinding, he completely wipes out the entire pack. Curious about his progress, the young man pulls up his character profile. He spots something incredible. His talent has upgraded to level 1. This gives him a 10% chance to deal double critical damage. Next, he has to choose one of 3 quality upgrade paths. This will boost his base stats by a massive 50%. Without hesitation, he chooses strength to maximize his raw damage output. He is highly satisfied with the results of this brief training session. Now evolved into a strong jackal, he refuses to slack off, pushing even harder. Within half an hour, he unlocks a ridiculously long new combat title. He is now the sturdy, nimble jackal. Next, he clears his junk inventory. Selling the loot for 300 coins, he finally hits level 4. Hungry for more power, he spots something unexpected lurking nearby. Emails flood his phone. The shapeshifter has no idea how this is even possible. Within a single second, someone has already bought up all the goods. At this rate, our hero manages to pull in 1,701 in just half a day. Meanwhile, the girl is thrilled to find the bat, though she still wonders about it. How on earth did Lamar's player end up with so many weapons inside his inventory? She finds it totally crazy to put such a massive price tag on a simple starter weapon. The girl double-checks the rankings, seeing that even in the top 500 players on the server. But his name is nowhere on it. She is not up there either. Soon, the female streamer realizes that this expert did not actually use the weapon himself. He is just flipping used gear. Intrigued, she starts up a live stream right in the middle of battle. Her live feed quickly pulls in over 100,000 active players right now. While thousands in the chat argue, they still keep their eyes glued to her broadcast. Now the streamer decides to end the chaos with a ridiculous prank, acting like an outraged pregnant woman. Dramatically, she tells her viewers that they absolutely must buy this special beginner bat. She claims that even a level 1 player can take down hundreds of enemies with it. Now watch, here is where he finally realizes why his bat is so wildly popular. Recognizing that this starter village is a total warzone, the young werewolf presses onward. He actually loves the grind, happily destroying waves of local beasts. Immediately, he notices significant upgrades in both his unique talents and overall combat qualities. Specifically, the local monsters here have special skills and sit one level higher than him. Yet he easily crushes every opponent, growing stronger with every fight. He could easily score another 300 yen by selling his next wooden bat. But looking closely, this new drop is way better than his current Aspen weapon. It grants +2 to strength, boosts attack by 2, and raises his defense by 1. With 40 extra health points and 40 physical stamina, it is god-tier gear for beginners. The young man starts to wonder how much gold he could get for this masterpiece. He asks around the community for some solid pricing advice. When other players see the stats of this bat, they are completely stunned. They call it the ultimate starter weapon, and tons of players are instantly desperate to buy it. Watching a lively chat room of trolls and traders, a brilliant idea suddenly hits him. How could he have completely forgotten about utilizing the in-game auction house before this? As a clever werewolf, he really should have set up an auction from the very start. Even though his level 1 bat has a steep price, competitors are leveling up fast. They are progressing quickly, meaning they will want to snatch up top-tier gear immediately. He decides to put it up for a 30-minute auction. If he can actually sell this for 3,000 yen, he is going to be rich. Players browsing the market online cannot believe their own eyes. The absolute best level 1 gear is listed with a starting bid of 1,000 gold. In the meantime, our young hero can secure 301 while grinding up to level 5. As he gathers basic level 1 evolution shards for his talents, everything seems to go perfectly. Everything is going smoothly, but suddenly his face twists in pure shock. In the distance, our hero spots a monster that looks completely different from the rest. It is a remarkably fast, level 6 jackal, a rare and highly dangerous target. Defeating it is the only way to obtain a coveted level 2 quality evolution shard. He confidently readies himself for a serious battle to claim his reward. He landed devastating critical hits on the beast, just as expected. Those level 2 upgrade shards finally dropped from the beast. Now the young man had to hunt down elite monsters. Lamar spent the entire day grinding tirelessly until he finally hit level 6. A massive 10,000 experience points was required just to reach this point. Checking his stat screen, those level 2 shards had completely doubled his attributes. His name grew ridiculously long. Even hiding behind trees was useless. Exhaustion finally hit him after a brutal day of endless grinding. It was time to get off the grid and rest until tomorrow afternoon. But first, he had to sort through his hard-earned loot. While standard clubs usually auctioned for around 300 coins, his top-tier items brought in a massive 800 coins each. Lamar smiled, wondering if his sister Monica was back yet. Lamar finally logged out, and wait, here is the crazy part. His paralyzed legs actually felt warm. Could he really walk again? Hope surged through him. That second-hand gaming helmet was worth every penny. Suddenly, he heard the door. Monica was home late once again. She had been working brutal overtime hours at her job. Smelling of alcohol, she stumbled right over to her little brother. She bragged about her huge earnings, but he only felt deep worry. He hated her drinking, especially out alone on the dark streets. Still, she happily announced her company was registering for the new game. She was going to be the mainframe programmer inside 9 Heavens. Lamar was glad to hear it, but gently asked her to get off him. Giggling, she reminded him that they were not actually blood siblings. Monica wanted to stay together forever, taking care of him for life. She laughed off any silly idea that he was a burden to her. She urged him not to worry, since 9 Heavens was taking over. Hundreds of millions of players and massive global companies were logging in. Even global intelligence agencies were setting up virtual bases. The opportunities in this new world were absolutely limitless. Lamar wanted to tell her his secrets so she would calm down. But he decided against it. No need to overwhelm her right now, especially since she had already passed out cold on the couch. The next day she was gone. He had to grind harder for their future. Starting off with a monster avatar was honestly a blessing in disguise. After cashing out nearly 4,000 coins, he checked some live streams. One female gamer had played until 4 in the morning just to reach level 3. Right now, she was praising the anonymous seller of her powerful bat. That awesome bat had completely changed her early game grinding speed. Her chat was filled with players complaining about how unfair her weapon was. They speculated that some lucky insider must have leaked the drop locations. Lamar smiled as he watched, realizing she was actually a genuinely nice person. He even sent her a small tip, catching her off guard. With a quiet chuckle, he prepared to continue his grind. He swung his weapon with absolute fury, slaughtering monsters. Happy to grab an attribute shard, hitting level 2 while she was still at level 7, he also possessed 740 health. Then he noticed a rather long title floating above his head, wishing he could somehow hide it, but it was terrifying to think about what kind of crazy title he would get if he upgraded. People would definitely spot him from 800 meters away. He wanted to push deeper since he spotted an elite monster with an awesome name in front of him. He found 10 powerful monsters, a whole squad of high levels. He even ran into the Werewolf Master. There was a big chance of not having enough strength to defeat this group. He needed a faster way out. His inventory was only packed with 4 healing potions, which simply would not cut it alongside 17 useless items. Basically, a large amount of level 0, level 1, and level 2 gear would not help him gain reputation, but suddenly he remembered a special feature. He found a single item that could actually save him. It was a Legion recruitment order, which allowed a player to command a small squad of summoned humans or monsters. However, one beast was not enough for him. He needed to upgrade the item, hoping to spend only 10 reputation points. Honestly, he found this entire system completely unfair. Buying it cost 10 points, but upgrading it took a massive 500. He needed to slay more monsters, but first, he tried selling off his gear in hopes of reaching level 3. Luckily, he managed to grab a level 3 item, allowing him to recruit 2 powerful monsters to fight for him. The mighty jackals got to work, tearing into the enemy creatures to keep their master safe. He really needed to upgrade all 3. Now he was a powerhouse, ordering his summons to wipe out the huge mob. The entire squad, including the lead werewolf, clashed with the enemies. Meanwhile, he was directing his summoned brothers to crush the remaining mobs. The whole squad charged right at the powerful werewolf master. He did not even realize where such a devastating strike was coming from. He quickly ordered his first summoned wolf to strike the center, while the second attacked from the top. He wanted to distract the main boss during the chaos. After some time and with the help of his jackals, they completely overwhelmed the boss. Guy looted 3 shards and a bunch of great gear. He even managed to obtain a green battle axe that could easily tear through waves of enemies. The weapon had high damage and insane bonus attributes that made her even stronger. He then ordered his 3 werewolves to hunt down local mobs in the area, clearing level 7 and level 8 jackals one by one, while keeping a safe distance just in case. He planned to wait for the boss to respawn, eager to take it down again. He had a great chance of ordering his squad to wipe out the remaining beasts before visiting the streamer room. Meanwhile, the female streamer was fighting brilliantly, periodically promoting the game 9 Heavens and explaining its unique mechanics to her audience. It was not easy for the girls to climb from level 5 to level 6. They wanted to join parties since most players had only been in the game for a short time. Players could even form clans now. That girl tracked down tons of alliances, and every single one was famous, featuring elite teams of specialists. With these fresh rules and players, the game got way more interesting. Then 8 hours later, someone finally dared to mess with Lamar. His lackeys tried shaking him awake at 7 a.m. since the werewolf bosses respawned every 8 hours. Our hero wanted to check his attributes, buy some gear, dress up, and head straight into battle. But unexpectedly for Lamar, who had almost finished level 8, to reach level 9, he realized his squad had been grinding all night. Lamar was pretty shocked, calling his crew a literal experience machine. He ordered his jackals to follow, carrying a massive rock-shattered club. Debris, lots of it. He never expected this. Smashing beasts was pretty easy with this upgraded weapon, but then he noticed something. His squad had not even sorted out their gear yet, which surprised him. Seeing 20 bats there, he joked that these kids were downright brutal. Overpriced auctions, he was pretty annoyed before, but now, time to cash in. Even though overall gear prices dropped a bit recently and his basic club was worth just 280 coins, those 6 blueprints were pure gold. He could sell those designs for way more, but what about green-tier weapons? He wanted to check the community forums to ask around, but buyers rushed him. They bought his stock so fast, he almost muted his trade notifications. He ordered his men to stop slacking and keep slaying those monsters. That white gear was pretty popular, and players were starting to notice. The system kept him hidden from standard lists, but he could not mask his ID. And honestly, once those high rankers spot him, his quiet days are officially numbered. Maybe he should post that green-tier gear to test the waters. He wanted to see how the other players would react. Besides, even if nobody buys it, he can farm another one in 8 hours anyway. Meanwhile, the girl could not believe how high the auction bids were going. The streamer did not expect this, since everyone only had basic white gear. Her friend highly suspected that he was using some hired jackals. The streamer noticed he actually had help, then Lara had a favor. She asked her to track his status and alert her if he watched. Her goal was simple, she wanted to try making friends with him. But our hero ignored all that drama, focusing entirely on grinding mobs to reach level 9. Going from level 8 to 9 required a massive 50,000 experience points. From 9 to 10 took 100,000, though his stats would skyrocket. Look there, he noticed some pretty valuable items dropping nearby. He scooped up 15 leftover potions that fleeing players had left behind. Seeing even more, he wondered why these rookies fight if they cannot survive. Either way, he walked away with an incredibly massive haul of free supplies. He joked to himself that he could not even afford to buy this many healing potions. Nearby, a few players spotted him, instantly mistaking him for a high-level boss. They assumed he was some hidden master, staring at his strange, long name tag. They whispered about his spiked shoulder pads and that massive, rock-infused club. Those greedy players were eyeing his gear, desperate to steal it for themselves. They quickly decide to murder him. Getting rich is all they want. Still, the girl is very doubtful they can actually defeat this boss. But since Lamar is only level 6, they think they have a shot. One player steps forward. He eagerly challenges our hero to feel his power. Lamar just stares. He never expected opponents to deal only 1 point of damage. His legendary armor sits at 28. To him, their strikes are just light tickles. Is this game even balanced? It seems completely broken to everyone watching. They certainly did not expect to face a boss with such massive health. 1150 health is pure insanity, yet the girl urges them not to panic. They still have potions. Their desperate plan is to slowly chip his life away. They keep striking. Lamar actually admires their useless but intense determination to win. But soon the hard truth hits. Their attacks are doing absolutely nothing. They have lost their minds. Lamar cannot believe they are still trying. Lying to themselves will not help when dealing such low, pathetic damage. He decides to end this joke. It is time for a complete slaughter. He is happy to watch them struggle and fail against his massive defense. Lamar strikes once. Instantly, the main attacker loses a 16th of his health. They try to heal quickly with potions, but it is not nearly enough. Each potion only heals 10 points per second for 10 seconds total. They try to manage their cooldowns, taking turns to strike the boss. Every move they make is pathetic. Lamar watches them with pure amusement. They still do not fully realize they cannot even scratch his armor. Suddenly they try to flee in terror, but Lamar will not let them. He hunts down every single player who dared to challenge him. After clearing them out, Lamar easily collects 27 valuable potion vials from their corpses. This is easy money. He figures they saw him selling high-tier equipment earlier. That is why they followed him all the way to the Werewolf Master. Meanwhile, inside the technical development department of the corporate Chuan building, the developer urges his team to look closely at the boss's stats. His level is 3 times theirs. He is completely impossible to kill. The damage is simply too high, indicating insane upgrades and legendary gear. Getting wiped out like that was quite enough to break their spirits. Still, they cannot comprehend how a solo player managed to kill everyone. If the boss is truly that powerful, how did Lamar defeat him? It makes no sense. Meanwhile, Lamar is busy sorting through his mail. He finally clears his inbox, though he is not sure if everything sold. Somehow he managed to slaughter the royal family prince in just a few seconds. He then sold off all the loot to earn 25,000 coins. He monotonously replies to the massive flood of emails from eager buyers. Each message gets a single letter reply. He needs to keep grinding. After hours of non-stop work, Lamar finally hits level 10, utterly exhausted. Still, he now boasts 28 items, a shoulder plate and a breastplate. Along with rock fragments, he opens his personal profile to check stats. His experience sits at 100,000, signaling a major power shift. After the system upgrade, he checked if there was anything new in the shop. He only found basic items, and they were somehow some of the most expensive. Lamar had been given the title of Jackal, though he did not see how it helped. Being a Jackal already, he was thrilled to see bloodline change options. With his new skills, he could easily transform into other powerful monsters. The young man suddenly realized there might actually be a human form in his evolution. To see if he could become human, Lamar took a closer look at the third property. He noticed some quite good items and decided to sell shards. By doing so, the werewolf successfully unlocked the first stage of the mesmerization skill. Meditating for just 1 minute would now grant him 1 unit of mana. Checking his blue mana shelf, he realized he could meditate whenever his mind cleared. To distract himself, he listed his gear for sale and checked the other players. He wanted to see how everyone was doing before going to sleep. Meanwhile, Lara couldn't believe it took 20,000 experience to get from level 6 to 7. Reaching at least level 10 was the only way she could enter the main city. Her streaming friend mentioned a player who was ruthlessly farming rock debris. Surprisingly, this exact player had logged into her stream. He was logged in right then as user 9527. Wanting to thank her subscribers, Lara decided to give away a rare bat. Lara congratulated user 9527 for winning the grand prize. Lamar was completely shocked, and honestly, who wouldn't be with luck like that? Yet he won the giveaway anyway. Lara immediately tried to add him as a friend. But the boy refused, suggesting she give the prize to other players instead. Lara tried everything to get him to accept the legendary bat reward. She begged him to add her back. Right now, Lamar was a remarkably sturdy jackal. He held a worn wooden bat, followed closely by 3 other terrifying jackals. He hoped this wouldn't scare others, but he realized Lara was actually pretty decent. Since she had helped him earlier, he wanted to help her out too. Ignoring the toxic stream comments, Lamar decided to officially add the girl. He officially accepted her friend request, sending the chat into a state of absolute shock. Lara smiled and thanked him, announcing that the poison mist forest was unlocked. This new area led straight to the level 10 main city. Lamar understood. Deleting her right after taking the prize would have been kind of embarrassing anyway. He decided to leave things as they were and inspect the forest of poison mist. This forest was known to be a rather dangerous place for average players. But our hero was extremely curious to see how strong the local monsters were. A lot of viewers were looking forward to this fight. Suddenly, he noticed them. Lamar spotted some very bizarre and frightening spider creatures crawling ahead. These beasts were shockingly strong and easily defeated his own summoned wild monster. Seeing his summon die, the young man decided to defeat the mother spider first. After killing her, he would take care of the rest of the spawn. Although Lamar got poisoned during the fight, the tick damage was fairly low. The werewolf easily overpowered the rest of these relatively weak opponents. Clearing 5 of these monsters rewarded him with 2 mana points and shards. Opening his inventory, he noticed a drop called the strong white-colored spider silk. Sooner or later, he had to spend his reputation points to unlock that. 4th equipment slot, he wanted to gear up right away for the poison resistance. Since adding 3 poison resistance to his 6 armor points would be huge, and give him a major advantage against the local forest monsters. But even after 5 minutes, Lamar found this forest incredibly brutal. His 3 recruits had 0 time to heal, and he was completely drained himself. He just wanted to log out and call it a night after a long, exhausting day of non-stop grinding. Back in the real world, he was shocked because, for the first time in forever, he could actually lift his heavy arms. He tried moving his fingers, and they actually worked, his entire upper body felt completely healed. Meanwhile, his sister did not get why her brother took so long to answer her, so he just faked being sleepy. He was much more curious about when she would finally log out and come home. She had no idea because her party just hit level 6 in her Guild leader bought them all bats, meaning they still had tons of work, but he wanted to surprise Monica, aiming to jump back in and grind down more. Monsters tomorrow, he needed to get back on his feet before her next visit. Unfortunately, he rushed in and made a fatal blunder, unless the mother spider is killed first. All her little spider babies will just keep respawning. Soon, the swarming spiders in front of him turned into an absolute nightmare. One of his recruits went down, leaving him with a tiny refund from the Warrior Guild plus system permission to hire a replacement. His werewolf went totally berserk after losing a comrade, but soon, Lamar was left completely alone. He desperately tried to heal himself while fighting off the endless spider horde. Barely surviving the hand-to-hand chaos, he stumbled out of the toxic woods. Devastated after losing his entire squad, he decided to hire a werewolf master. In 3 basic units, this time he was going to focus entirely on defending, slaying mobs, boosting stats, and watching how his new squad fought. He even managed to upgrade those 3 basic recruits, who now gained an extra 10 points of poison resistance each. With his upgraded squad ready, it was time to clear out those massive monster hordes. That is when he spotted another named boss lurking among the smaller spiders. Right there stood the venomous widow, Alisana, a level 10 threat. Lamar ordered his squad forward, throwing everything they had into the battle. To defeat the monster, they clashed for a grueling half-hour. This level 10 boss was no joke, and Lamar was genuinely impressed by her raw power. Fortunately, she dropped 3 pieces of gear, including a rare green-grade item. He also snagged a spider fang necklace. To equip both powerful items, it cost 800,600 reputation. That was incredibly steep, but he stayed patient and invested his hard-earned points. Getting high-tier gear from bosses made it completely worth it. Still, he found it strange how fast bosses respawned in these zones. Maybe that mysterious stone plaque was right. Only 1 in 10 could ever escape this place. Honestly, Lamar loved these quick spawns because it meant he and his squad could easily rack up another 80 kills to cash in. Our hero pushed his stats to the absolute limit, noticing a very long title after a short while. Though it looked somewhat strange, after grinding for half a day, he realized that those attributes had actually reached level 3. Having achieved this much, he decided to see what was currently available inside the prestige shop to help him grow further. The store offered poison attacks and extra movement speed, which the young man really wanted. He also aimed to upgrade his spider bloodline to level 3 to become even stronger. After seriously buffing his stats, he activated various talents to physically enhance his body. The young man could not tell if he was turning into some bizarre insect monster, a wolf, a jackal, or a spider, but once his bloodlines merged, his movement, his speed skyrocketed, making it feel like the system was forcing cosmetic purchases. It had been an incredibly hectic and exhausting day, and he desperately needed to rest. But he almost forgot about the rock fragments he purchased just the previous day. They had already sold out, earning him well over 10,000 yen in profit. Now he had rare gloves from the Forest of Poison Mist sitting in his inventory. He had 5 sets in total, including gear to protect his wrists and ankles. Some players were so greedy, they even plotted to hunt Lamar down to steal them. They wanted to attack the legendary werewolf once more, but the girl urged caution. She begged them not to risk it after their last attempt ended in humiliating defeat. Still, they hoped to salvage what they could and secure a solid advantage. Wait for it, Lara's friend suddenly spots something crazy up ahead. Our hero decided to put on a show, acting to save himself from players. But the players had no clue that the mighty jackal Commander Heb had arrived. Looking at its goofy face, the players assumed the creature's appearance was deceptive. They confidently hoped that such a silly monster would easily fall to their attacks. Our hero found the boss's lengthy name hilarious, especially since it was longer than his. Yet their strikes only dealt 1 damage because of its heavy defense. The squad completely misjudged the situation, shocked to find the boss had massive health. It actually possessed 2,000 health, forcing them to retreat and fight for survival. One player desperately pleaded with the group not to panic during the retreat. Though highly armored, the beast was not hostile, aiming only to contain the players. Hearing their mocking remarks made the werewolf absolutely furious at their disrespect. As he unleashed his wrath, he dealt over 200 points of poison damage. That massive damage output instantly put a stop to their foolish riot. The players stared in complete disbelief at the devastating power he unleashed. It was enough damage to wipe out any player in a single heartbeat. Lamar couldn't understand why they were staring, jokingly wondering if they found him handsome. The enemy players suffered terribly under the toxic fog, which brought rapid doom. Charging forward like an absolute tank, our hero went completely all out. He easily crushed everyone in his path, making them regret ever targeting him. They desperately wanted to defeat the beast, but had no way through his armor. One survivor had a sliver of health left, barely managing to hold on. He apologized to the pretty streamer, but she stood firmly in his way. Unfortunately for her, Lara was taking 60 units of poison damage every second. Realizing this, our werewolf forced the rest of the squad to buy potions. He decided to check Lara's stream to monitor what the players planned next. They backed off. The girls stood frozen in shock after their attempt to assassinate Lamar failed. They never expected a monstrous opponent like Heb to show up. It quickly dawned on them. He was crushing them completely. Their 40-man squad crumbled in seconds. One player grew completely exhausted from fighting such a relentless beast. They desperately begged the girl to ask Lamar for a strategy to defeat this terrifying boss. They treated her like a goddess, desperately begging her to ask him for guidance. Meanwhile, our brave hero's goal was simple: push through the deadly forest of toxic mist and sell all the valuable loot he could gather. He suggested they return tomorrow. While they made plans to return, the girl showered the young man with immense gratitude. He noticed the squad was on the fence, yet they still wanted to defeat Lamar, who turned out to be the absolute source of chaos. In the meantime, he crafted a nearly complete gear set, confidently preparing to press forward. He did not know what beast would appear next. However, it revealed itself to be a level 10 bamboo python, forcing him to order his squad to overwhelm the serpent. His upgraded poison-resistant gear proved incredibly effective, granting 19 points of defense against the enemy's 20 poison damage. In reality, this massive serpent turned out to be just as deadly as a level 9 widow spider. Suddenly, the pythons began swarming, as if the game wanted to terrify its players. Our hero realized the battle was dragging on way longer than expected. Fortunately, he had more than just poison armor on hand, carrying 80 full bottles of healing potions. For his minions, after 2 exhausting hours, a heavy feeling washed over him. It remained unclear how they could wipe out all these snakes. He desperately wanted to just lie down and sleep. Even though he slept perfectly the night before, he still really did not feel like fighting at all. He ran forward blindly, not even knowing if he could survive all these snakes. Glancing around, he could not comprehend what was happening. One summon was dismissed, yet the other 3 stubbornly remained active, continuing to trade heavy blows. The serpent, to his absolute shock, his minions had actually leveled up, reaching level 9 themselves. He was completely baffled. How was this even possible? Soon, though, our hero realized what happened. His 3 summons had been taking strategic turns, resting and striking. Since he was away, they divided all the combat experience among themselves to rank up. Before this, he had been deeply worried about how to level up his squad, but thanks to their clever exploit, he could easily upgrade his brainless minions without doing any hard work. Plus, slaying pythons earned enough points to upgrade their bloodline. 2,000 points was a steep price, but he hoped their talent would pay off. Each step forward after a successful poison attack would boost his skills by 10%. He had to alter his appearance once more, but this buff would make his strikes even deadlier than his previous spider attacks. Still, his evolved monster looked increasingly worse. It was downright hideous, but he gladly traded his physical looks for absolute, crushing power. Dealing with swarms of creatures was no longer an issue. Now he could inflict a toxic plague. One stack lasted 5 seconds, while another lasted 7. Enemy steps. He now wanted to charge through the toxic forest with his squad, rapidly slaughtering every monster in their path. They clashed with hordes of powerful beasts, but he easily overpowered them without breaking a single sweat. After constant strain, Lamar finally feels true superiority against the monsters. Lamar finally spots the massive purple monster now. The beast is wearing incredibly durable gear, leaving him with a tough choice. But Lamar is not one to back down. He wants a proper one-on-one duel. With no extra mobs around, his summoned wolves should seal this victory. Suddenly, a brutal attack makes him seriously reconsider his choice to fight. The beast immediately fires a sticky web, completely paralyzing his entire werewolf squad. Seeing the boss' insane skills, he realizes things are looking pretty bad. Our hero keeps moving constantly to stay alive, but he is already down 3 allies. With those minions still trapped inside the webs, Lamar has to strike back with everything he has. He deals some pretty solid damage, slightly outdamaging the monster's own strikes. However, this Spider Queen has over 4,000 health, and her recovery is incredibly rapid. Defeating her is not going to be easy, presenting some seriously unexpected challenges. The beast is massive, carrying truly terrifying power. Luckily, Lamar had already upgraded his forest spiders to be incredibly fast. Now he must constantly monitor his active skills, talent cooldowns, and remaining health. Meanwhile, his remaining summons are still clawing away at the creature's back. But the boss activates her skill again, trapping even more of his summons in silk. Our hero is shocked that her web skill apparently has absolutely zero cooldown. He is forced to rely entirely on his own skills, attempting to kite her around the chamber. Just 30 minutes into the fight, he finally grabs 4 shards and 5 rare items. Both green and blue tier equipment drop, making his 30 minutes of struggle completely worth it. Lamar is stunned to find a chest piece boasting 21 units of defense. On top of that, an amazing magical piece drops that provides an incredibly useful skill bonus. He finally gets his hands on the rare blue-quality U-Hill armor. Even if another player beats the Werewolf Master, traveling here will still take ages. Lamar is about to make insane money. Wait until you see his next move. Just 30 minutes later, the boss respawns, much faster than the Werewolf Master did. Since this forest blocks city access, the boss respawn rate remains extremely high. After 10 brutal hours of grinding, Lamar is completely exhausted but highly successful. Over 10 hours, he amassed 17 poison sets, 19 hill armors, 11 silk headdresses, and 19 shards. With all this loot in hand, most players assumed Lamar was suffering in this forest. They thought he died in the toxic mist, but in reality, he is about to become extremely wealthy. He lists an 8th slot helmet with a massive value of 4,000 reputation points. While incredibly expensive, the stats on this legendary helmet are absolutely insane. It grants 11 armor, 7 strength, 9 dexterity, and 10 physique. Lamar plans to hold on to it for a bit to sell at a premium. Other players are incredibly worried about the deadly poison mist forest and his survival. So far, not a single competitor has managed to reach level 3. Most players are still stuck at level 1, completely unable to reach the entrance. To shake things up, Lamar decides to create a massive sensation next. He plans to advertise his loot and get rich using Lara's stream. Looking at her broadcast, the girl finishes up and prepares to head back. Viewers quickly realize that if their gaming goddess cannot survive this deadly zone, most of them have absolutely no idea how the legendary Lamar is pulling it off. The girls knew other teams claimed spiders had special gear to protect them from poison, but they had absolutely nothing like that. She finally calmed down, realizing even if this guy deleted her from his friends list, she had to beg him for help. The streamer asked if Lamar had been to the Forest of Poison Mist and wanted to know the required poison defense stats, or if he would sell the gear directly to her. He agreed to her proposal right away, leaving her stunned by his sudden cooperation. Any actual poison-resistant suits. Naturally, the streamer was desperate to buy this epic gear, but Lamar was curious, how many of these suits did she actually need? She had no idea what count to even ask for, while the chat went wild. Nobody could believe this kid actually possessed multiple sets of poison-resistant armor. Lara asked to buy 3 full sets. Lamar knew every player needed a secure trading account. He quickly requested her trading link so they could complete the transaction. The streamer happily announced she had secured 3 poison-resistant suits. Still in complete disbelief, each of these rare suits was easily worth 21,000 gold pieces. Lara thanked him deeply for providing them for such a modest price, giving her the perfect defense to bypass those deadly venomous spiders. Immediately, a massive flood of emails asking Lamar for more suits filled his inbox. That stream turned out to be the absolute ultimate form of free advertising. Tons of players were burning with questions about how he cleared the zone without any gear and how he even conquered the fearsome Evenhill tonight. The young man planned to host a massive auction, urging everyone to arrive on time. But first, he had to grind monsters. Flash forward to 20 minutes after start. Bidding was already soaring. Now, here is the crazy part about our hero. He had reincarnated as a girl, and though he hated it, the money demanded him to play along. Most players assumed Lamar was only selling basic poison gear. To their shock, he put up incredibly rare stat-boosting artifacts instead. He kept driving the bidding higher and higher, fueling the desperate buyers. Everyone wanted a piece of these rare items. By the final bid, he sold one for 9,800 coins, from a base of 1,100. He was almost terrified. If a simple artifact went for this much, what about the highly anticipated poison-resistant suits? The crowd of players held their breath. Eager for the main event, many suspected Lamar was somehow crafting these himself. Now acting as his female persona, Lamar finally showcased the legendary suit they had all been waiting for. He introduced 3 complete sets, starting at 15,000 coins, with minimum bid increments of 2,000. Nobody expected 3 whole sets. Everyone realized Lamar was on a completely different level. Instantly, the bids exploded to absolutely insane, sky-high numbers. Lamar watched the numbers fly, realizing he was going to be filthy rich. He congratulated bidder number 3 for winning the first set at 45,000. The second batch started at 15,000, but a player immediately raised it straight to 45,000 coins. The crowd was completely stunned by this buyer's deep pockets. Other guilds pleaded with their leaders to bid higher, just to secure one crucial set. After a tense, quiet moment of negotiations, the guild boss raised the bid to 47,000, only to be outdone by a massive counteroffer of 50,000 coins. Lamar smiled, congratulating the winning bidder. 27 drops 50,000, and the host announces the next starting price. That one starts at 25,000, with minimum bids jumping by 5,000 coins. It is absolute chaos as the crowd desperately fights over the final costume batch. Everyone scrambles to outbid each other, driving the price sky-high. Finally, one wealthy bidder drops 90,000 coins, leaving the other players thinking he is completely insane. A lot of them are pretty frustrated, realizing they cannot compete with such deep pockets. Riding high on the success, the female lead decides to make a free announcement. Most players thought the snake phase was the only major hurdle here. They expected a clear path out of the poison mist forest, but a worse trial awaits. This terrifying news leaves the costume wearers completely stunned and shaking in their boots. Luckily, our main character still has plenty of gear designed to help survive the mist. The players can hardly believe there is equipment even more powerful than before. Now that they are hooked, the host transitions from the main course to dessert. Moving from the main course to dessert, the gear our main character wanted to sell was heavy armor, and everyone would see its attributes very soon. Players could not believe their eyes when the stunning blue outfit was revealed, presented as a complete set, leaving everyone shocked by the opening bid. The host presents 3 sets grouped into a single batch. Bidding starts at 15,000, with minimum increases of 2,000 coins. Honestly, who wouldn't want to get their hands on a literal divine weapon? Everyone wanted this divine gear, and our young hero sold all 3 pieces for 188,000 coins. He was exhausted. The exhausting hour-long auction finally wrapped up, securing his 10% cut of the fees. He pocketed nearly 400,000 coins, but then he noticed that while one arm was fully healed, his leg had turned black. He wanted to buy a new apartment for his sister, but needed more savings. Still, after selling so much gear, he wondered if anyone could clear the forest. To find out, the Windbells Guild prepares to venture into the poison mist. Together, they enter the toxic forest, ready for a brutal fight. They clash with waves of monsters, pushing forward to secure a victory. Players wearing the new armor successfully resist the venom of deadly spiders. With the squad exhausted, the female lead begs everyone to hold on. Her companion is amazed at how quickly they shred the Widow Boss. They coordinate their attacks perfectly to suppress these dangerous, high-damage monsters. Without armor, players get destroyed. Lara tells the team to follow her. Hoping to end this fight quickly, they realize it is already 5 a.m. in reality. Finally recovered from the snakes, the leader suddenly orders the squad to halt. Standing before them is a level 12 boss, the Lord of Poison Mist. Facing such a high-level beast is shocking, but they refuse to back down. If a player like Lamar could do it, they can surely reach the main city. Suddenly, the girls strike at the players, who have completely lost their fear. Nobody knows how to counter an endless skill that has no cooldown. They face being sent straight back to spawn after grinding so hard. Meanwhile, our protagonist is pretty impressed by how fast they reach the boss. Seeing them close in, he signals the werewolf squad to make their move. Time to go. Lamar realized this boss was no joke. Those skills were actually pretty dangerous. Defending against them was a must. Luckily, there was a basic yellow-tier combat manual. Available, it used to cost 1,000 reputation, but the price just doubled to 2,000. No choice but to buy it. Lamar unfurled the ancient informational scroll immediately. Just like that, he unlocked the perfect counter-strategy against that annoying web snare skill. Next, he rallied his troops to move out, but as a newly crowned hero. He still could not enter any level 10 cities. His only real option was the 100 Beast Mountains. Walking in, Lamar got a strange feeling about this massive place. It felt absolutely endless. He gestured for his crew to keep up and stay alert. They needed to scan the area for some strong monsters to recruit as new subordinates. Soon they spotted a lightning-fast wolf and a high-damage tiger beast. There was even a super tanky bear monster nearby. All three looked pretty solid. But honestly, just hiring them felt a bit too boring for a hero. Instead, Lamar and his werewolf squad wandered straight into a creepy mass grave site. There was a heavy vibe here. Suddenly, a system warning popped up on his screen. He had officially crossed the rookie zone, and his current defense stats were pretty low. Right on cue, a creepy monster started crawling out from beneath the deep tree roots. It was a level 24 banshee. Lamar definitely did not expect such a deadly creature here. This graveyard was getting dangerous. Instantly, the shrieking banshee launched a massive skull projectile. The attack hit hard, dealing a massive chunk of damage to his entire squad at once. Lamar quickly realized that if this creature landed even 2 more hits like that, his whole team would be wiped out, and he would be next. He had to act fast against these terrifying threats, so he ordered his squad to attack. But none of his units could really withstand those heavy magical blows. He realized they had no choice but to play defense and hold their ground. Together, the werewolf leader and his mismatched team braced for the impact. Once the dust settled, Lamar noticed the monster's damage output had dropped quite a bit. Now was his chance. He wanted to capture one of these banshees using a brand new trick. He activated his newly learned web skill, which shot right out of his stomach. It looked hilarious, but hey, it worked. One of the banshees was successfully subdued. She became his newest loyal subordinate, though her level got downscaled to level 11. Still, Lamar noticed her high damage attacks could actually shred the enemy armor. Next, he wanted to fill his squad capacity to 5 units by taming one more. It did not take long before he pulled off another successful taming attempt. This unlocked his very own hideout, but he needed a higher level zone to build it. That way, other players would not be able to track him down for a while. Looking up, Lamar spotted the highest peak of the entire 100 Beast Mountain range. It was a stunning spot, but also extremely dangerous. He remembered that a high-damage tiger lord ruled this specific area. Good thing he prepared. He ordered his main squad to keep their distance. They needed to watch carefully while he initiated the battle himself. Right off the bat, the beast hit him hard, dealing severe damage to Lamar. His own attack and speed were high, but his health pool was dangerously low. The werewolf ordered his entire squad to swarm the beast together. The mighty tiger simply could not handle being completely overwhelmed by so many targets. Within minutes, the squad managed to defeat the monster, but a final reward awaited. To claim the true prize, they had to completely slay the tiger lord himself. Lamar drove the beast into exile, chasing him so far he regretted fighting back. With the area cleared, the hero got his own hideout, just like that. It requested that he clear the mountain of monsters and rename the entire peak. The werewolf claimed the Peak Hard Nut title, securing a 20% health bonus. Lamar fought like a complete monster, though his execution was undeniably brilliant. He planned to use his skills to sweep the entire mountain in one go. Together with his loyal squad, he tore through the annoying tigers and bears. Every single kill showered him with experience points and level 1 talent shards. The shapeshifter managed to obtain 2 brand new items at the same time. Grind harder, that was the only way to upgrade everyone's high-tier gear. After grinding, he finally reached level 12 and discovered an uncharted dungeon. This playthrough was full of surprises. He paused to plan his next move. Lamar ordered his squad to train outside solo, keeping their hunting controlled. They had to coordinate their battles and rest if health fell below 40%. Meanwhile, the young hero prepared to plunge deep into the dungeon for rare artifacts. He wanted to ensure his future gear would match their current top-tier setup. Reading the instructions, Lamar knew what to expect when inserting his weapon. The monster inside the realm would drop its loot and hide it in its clothes. But Lamar only cared about gathering rare crafting materials from the beast. His primary goal was to upgrade all his equipment to 4 stars. If the monsters inside dropped level 4 materials, he would be set. Farming those level 4 drops 5 times would easily make him incredibly wealthy. The werewolf completed the prayer, stepping boldly into the glowing secret realm. Suddenly, the system issued a massive server-wide announcement for everyone to see. No player expected anyone to unlock a level 12 secret realm so quickly. Lamar stepped inside, alerting the whole server talk about making a grand entrance. Now a massive battle lay ahead as dark forces began to close in. Huge monsters closed in. Lamar was not quite ready for them. But he had to fight anyway, determined to harvest their rare materials by force. He immediately lunged forward to wipe out every single creature in the vicinity. Luckily, the Siberian wolves were pretty weak, allowing him to easily handle all 5. True to the system's promise, each kill made him 5 times richer. Fueled by pure greed for gold, the young man slaughtered everything that moved. Every beast that dared to challenge Lamar regretted it instantly. Honestly, this was turning out to be an incredibly lucrative grind for Lamar. In just 1 hour, he leveled up, gathering 1,000 crafting materials. With his talents upgraded to level 4, he pulled up his profile. The legendary king prefix now sat next to his name, making him look like a true boss. But where were the ancient fragments? He had no clue. To upgrade further, he decided it was time to hunt the dungeon boss. With 200 damage, 140 armor, and 5,000 experience, Lamar smirked at the boss, seeing it only had 6,000 health. By the end, he had successfully farmed 30 fragments of evolution talents. 300,000 reputation points made him a fortune. Players were stunned. How could a secret realm disappear so easily, basically cleared in just a few hours? With all those materials, our hero should probably trade them to boost his reputation. That way he can upgrade his rank and recruit a powerful legion. Meanwhile, the Werewolf King ordered the squad to stop slacking off and move out. They needed to reinforce the front. Just 30 minutes later, he made a move. He ordered the whole team to start chopping down trees and hauling heavy rocks. Their goal was 500 pieces of wood and stone to build up resources. Delivering these materials to the lumberjack would get them paid, making him incredibly rich. He made 500,000 won in under a week, a total dream come true for him. Plus, his paralyzed arm was finally healing, and his upper body felt stronger than ever. Lamar was thrilled with the progress because soon, he would live like a normal person. His health improved daily, and now he had his sights set on buying a house. He wanted to buy a home costing 500,000. A massive mansion was impossible. But he planned to check out a smaller place tomorrow. This would surprise his little sister. Meanwhile, over at China's National Security Agency, they had just established an elite task force specifically for this virtual world. The director fully agreed because the Nine Heavens game was incredibly complex. It was far deeper and more dangerous than anyone realized at first glance. In fact, the director pointed out that global governments and militaries were involved. This massive project had the power to reshape the entire future of humanity. To unlock the next stage, they needed answers, so he checked on their progress. Their top agent was currently trapped inside the dangerous forest of poisonous fog. Surviving there was brutal, so the director offered him a crucial tip. He needed to track down Lamar, the only player capable of guiding him out. Lamar was a legend, and intelligence reports suggested they must secure his trust. The order was simple: become his ally, no matter what it takes. The very next day, things get interesting when Lamar visits a housing agency. He confirmed he was looking to purchase a modest, budget-friendly apartment. The agents were shocked to see him in person, especially given his condition. Reports said he could barely move his head and a single arm. The smiling realtor immediately assured him that their properties were top-notch quality. She guaranteed he would get an honest deal with 0 hidden issues. It turned out the cozy unit Lamar wanted was actually their best seller. He liked the layout, and the agent urged him to sign quickly. Otherwise, someone else would grab it first, but then another worker intervened. She begged him to stop, warning him that the building was dangerously flawed. She yelled for everyone to listen up and avoid the Hang Shan complex. The structures were incredibly cheap and practically on the verge of collapsing. If these buildings fell, hundreds of innocent families would lose their entire savings. Panic instantly rippled through the lobby as people realized they almost got scammed. Furious, the manager ordered security to drag the crazy woman outside immediately. But she was telling the absolute truth and actually possessed solid proof. She just wanted to prevent unsuspecting buyers from falling into a terrible trap. Lamar watched this chaos unfold, realizing things were about to get very wild. Moving back won't be easy anymore, but regardless of whether the rumors are true or false, our hero should probably hold off on buying this apartment. Still, some advise him to just lock it down without overthinking. Suddenly, the guards corner Lamar, sneering and ordering the crippled man to back away. But he notices a lady nearby who clearly has something to say, so he asks her to step aside to talk in private. The goons realize that, even without a video online, this dramatic scene is bound to get crazy views. The girl begs them to leave her alone, but the guards keep pushing, insisting they only want to talk. Lamar can't believe this old man's nerve. The guard just laughs, mocking him for trying to act like a hero. But our boy suddenly blocks a kick with ease, his body feeling mysteriously stronger. The boss orders them to trash Lamar's body so he can't recover. But even glued to his wheelchair, Lamar effortlessly handles the entire crowd of thugs. He instantly feels the difference, not just in raw strength but in his incredibly sharp reflexes. Still, the lead guard thinks Lamar is terrified of being flipped right out of his chair. Suddenly, an extra goon flies in from nowhere, almost knocking him over. Fortunately, a powerful ally arrives just in time to help. This loyal warrior can't understand how these street trash dare threaten his supreme master. Honestly, Lamar is pretty confused about when he became anyone's master. Jin easily cleans up all the lowlifes in the area. Protecting people is just second nature to him. The thugs definitely didn't expect to run into the legendary Jin, who notes that playing dumb is the best way to outsmart enemies. Jin bows and apologizes for the delay, then steps aside so Lamar can handle the remaining fools himself. The property manager can't comprehend who would dare disrupt their construction business. He eyes Lamar, wondering if this is the target. Surely no one in his crew would be stupid enough to pick this fight. Jin coldly warns the manager he has exactly 10 minutes to explain himself. The manager hates this show-off, immediately ordering his elite guards to sweep them out of the building. The guards smirk, telling their boss not to worry. They boast they can clean this mess up in under a single minute. But Jin has zero patience for trash talking, instantly shutting down the lead guard before delivering a clean, devastating punch to put the next guy to sleep. The manager watches in horror as his best fighters are systematically dismantled. Seconds, Jin casually reminds him he has 1 minute left to try something else. Sweating bullets, the terrified boss quickly tries to negotiate and offer compensation. But Lamar isn't looking for a cash payout, he wants physical payback. Jin shakes his head, amazed at how incredibly foolish the manager was. Picking a fight with their lord, then begging for mercy is just pathetic. Jin vows to make anyone who insults his master regret it for life. The onlookers watch in awe, assuming our hero must be from some ultra-wealthy dynasty. The girl is totally bewildered as to why someone so rich is apartment hunting. In a rundown place like this, Jin steps forward, greeting his lord after 3 years. He begs Lamar to return and lead their powerful family once again. Honestly, Lamar just wanted a peaceful, ordinary life, but that's starting to look like a luxury he can't afford anymore. Jin is amazed at how much his master he wanted to show off. Within 3 minutes, though, the police suspected that the real estate company was actually a shady conspiracy involving corrupt local officials and greedy businessmen accused of pulling off massive illegal land grabs. Naturally, the manager and his top cronies were instantly fired. The manager got incredibly unlucky. He never expected this disabled man to have such a terrifying past. The officers apologized, promising to punish the culprits. But Jin told them to just forget about those couple of stinky fish. With that settled, the cops headed out, but Jin had something else important to discuss with Lamar. Jin suggested they find a better place to talk privately, and the young hero agreed to go along. It was clear to Lamar that these were seriously powerful people who wanted something from him. He just hoped their favor wouldn't cause too much trouble. Meanwhile, the girl thanked him, never expecting to witness such insane power. Lamar told her not to sell herself short since she helped out too. Jin wanted to talk privately with Lamar, but thanked the others first. Once alone, the first big question on Lamar's mind was simple. Who exactly Jin was? Right now, Jin's people could not share those details. They simply needed to find a coder named Lamar to help them for a prize. Lamar was confused. How did they even know he could help them? He knew hacking, but the cybersecurity of this game was completely impenetrable. Even the global banks couldn't touch it. Jin explained they were stuck on a difficult snake stage and desperately needed his help, offering a massive reward. Jin handed over a VIP card, letting Lamar choose any luxury villa he wanted. But Lamar shook his head. He couldn't accept such an insane reward for a simple favor. Jin explained that the first heavenly realms had just opened. Inside 9 heavens, with even bigger maps coming soon, Lamar hated owing favors, preferring to earn his own way, so Jin offered a smart middle ground. With this card, Lamar would get a 30% discount on any property. Jin begged him to at least accept that. Lamar finally agreed, but on one condition. Jin had to explain why they cared so much about a game. Why pour so much effort into virtual reality? Lamar was about to find out. 9 heavens was way more than a game. Global governments and military forces were already deep inside it, completely blind to what was truly lurking there. Lamar told them to meet him at the Poison Mist Forest at 7 a.m. That was when he would help. Jin never expected this kid to be the legendary Lamar himself. He had no idea why the guy kept quiet. Now Lamar finally secured the 30% discount card, but right now, protecting his sister's life was way more important. Still, this deal was definitely worth it. Some players, though, doubted Lamar's words. Their low-tier equipment was honestly trash. Lamar knew they couldn't even afford decent gear. They had no clue how incredibly rare drop rates were for top-tier items in this place. Lamar simply told them to follow behind while he wiped out the monsters. They thought he was joking, totally unable to fathom his power. Suddenly, a massive werewolf boss appeared, fully confident in its own strength. Moments later, Jin stood completely speechless, staring at a mountain of dead monsters. They really believed the Lord wiped out the entire pack alone. Everyone thought this guy was incredibly strong, but truth be told, if not for the main team, he would have struggled heavily to put them down. The guys could barely believe the kid actually managed to slay such a powerful boss. While the Poisonous Mist Forest wiped out other groups, Lamar still hid his true power. The shapeshifter still walked away with 47 spike maces, 53 wolfkin greaves, and a team level up to 14. Suddenly, he spots a very bizarre item. Figuring it must be some rare gear, for a young player getting a drop like this after a brutal 2-day battle meant the drop rate was incredibly low. He decides to test the waters by listing this rare skirt for auction. If no one bites soon, he plans to just pull it off the market. A girl named Lara is shocked to see Lamar listing gear, and she notices a highly unusual outfit that looks nothing like the standard colony gear. This skirt boosts movement speed by 5% and even comes with a chance to confuse the enemy. Lara quickly places a bid, but she is far from the only interested buyer. Wealthy kids are literally begging their fathers to buy them this unique gear. Countless girls are pleading with their boyfriends to secure the skirt. Within just 5 seconds, the price skyrockets to 65,000. Every single split second is incredibly vital now. Lara cannot believe how many players are bidding on this single item. Every moment, ultimately, Lamar pulls in over 80,000 yuan, even though he originally listed it for just 2,000, as players go absolutely wild for rare novelty. Now the hero has about 650,000 won, plus a 30% home card, which means he will soon easily reach 1 million. Shaking off the distraction, the young man focuses on harvesting the vital blood of the 3-petal flower monster as quickly as possible. Strangely, he now has that exact flower growing on his own head, which completely ruins his fierce werewolf look. However, he now possesses a vastly superior field of vision. In fact, without the unique perception of this mutated flower, he would never have realized that a completely hidden zone was right here. The dense fog normally inflicts a low-level mind-clouding effect, blinding anyone who enters unless they fuse their senses with the blood of this flower monster. He notices how easily the pathways warp and vanish. This zone is exceptionally dangerous. Most players actively avoid these shifting paths, treating them as a pure death trap. At all costs, suddenly, a massive public server mission to resist an upcoming invasion. Flashes before them, the event requires level 20 to join. The prompt tasks players with defending the zone against heavily mutated creatures. Unleashed during the event, the group wonders if anyone else is even inside. The Lost Garden of Eden. Suddenly, a system alert announces that all servers will temporarily merge into a single zone for this massive defense task. The guys can hardly believe that 24 cities will now share the exact same server. Realizing how major this event is, Lara immediately asks to team up for it. Across the server, countless other players agree to band together into a massive alliance. While the announcement stirs up total chaos, Lamar's newly acquired flower buff keeps everything crystal clear, giving him perfect visibility even through the dense fog up to 400 meters. It is absolutely wild how much his perception has expanded, allowing him to easily track the mutated beasts lurking in the distance. There were so many mutated monsters spawning that Lamar actually worried he could not handle them. But then he remembered he was a mutated boss monster himself. Surely he could take them on. Plus, his own powerful squad monsters had also mutated. His loyal beasts transformed, some turning into deadly, high-tier elite jackals. Others became lethal banshees, while Lamar's own stats suddenly doubled in power. His damage surpassed 400, with his health pool soaring past 10,000 points. Players in the level 10 cities would have much better gear, so he went to investigate. After checking out the level 10 main city, Storm City, he tuned into Lara's stream. He observed how players from different servers were adjusting to this massive unification. The new hub was massive. It dwarfed their starting village completely. For players over level 10, the safe zone protections were officially gone. Everyone was focused on searching for the mythical Garden of Eden, leaving no time for guild wars. Game on, living as a wild monster was so much better than playing. It would take normal players forever to locate the entrance to the legendary garden. Lamar needed to capitalize on this delay and hunt down mutated monsters for valuable drops. Leading his squad forward, incredible high-tier equipment began dropping from the mutated beasts. Getting gear from these fused beasts was a goldmine. Seriously, look at those stats. What insane loot would the boss yield after he cleared the area? Pure domination, the werewolf wiped out every threat in his path. His rewards were massive, including high-damage weapons and a rare critical strike ring. One specific accessory boosted his critical hit rate by a massive 30%. It also increased his base damage by 10% and could be unequipped instantly. He could not believe how much the player market prices had suddenly skyrocketed. With the servers merging, everyone is desperately scrambling for gear. Talk about a crazy market. Time to grind. He had to farm elites with his squad to maximize profits. Other players were stunned to discover that Lamar had already sold off silver wolf gear. Meanwhile, rumors whispered that the entrance to the hidden garden lay somewhere near the mountains. Scanning the rugged terrain, Lamar and his team spotted a strange, thick mist nearby. The entrance had to be hidden right inside that heavy, white fog. Rival players were furious that Lamar reached it first, though they hoped he would fail. Finding the path did not guarantee victory, so everyone rushed toward the misty valley. Push ahead, Lamar eventually discovered the crucial southeast eye of the magic formation. A dead end, he stared at a massive stone pillar, wondering how to break it. The werewolf told his squad members to test the pillar with a direct attack. One of the girls rushed forward to strike, but a massive level 20 wolf spirit emerged. This spectral beast instantly blocked their path, fiercely defending the ancient seal. With a single brutal strike, the spirit easily wiped out half of her health. Lamar did not expect such a savage guardian, forcing him to quickly change tactics. Going solo, the werewolf decided to take the beast head-on by himself. Even his heavy physical attacks barely scratched the guardian's massive armor. It had 100,000 health, but its magic defense was practically zero. Magic was key. Lamar realized he could easily melt the boss if he spammed his spells. Still, this was going to be a brutal fight that required teamwork to survive. After buffing his squad, they worked together to slowly wear the beast down. Just like that, Lamar drew the spirit's attention while his allies quickly drank health potions. They should have carefully studied the weaknesses of such a massive, towering creature. The main squad and our hero desperately tried to hold back the giant threat. After a grueling hour of real-time combat, they finally started making actual progress. They managed to shave off some of the giant spirit's health while other players kept fighting. The endless horde of mutated werewolves tore through their gear's durability in seconds. Even worse, their damage output was rapidly dropping, which Lara quickly noticed. She saw the wolves mutate further, growing far stronger in the toxic environment. The poison mist was a double threat, buffing the monsters while draining the player's strength. What if this deadly fog reached the city? The thought alone made them shudder. But there was no time to panic. The system suddenly flashed a major alert about Lamar. He had successfully destroyed the southeast eye of the formation, earning the MVP title. The other players were completely speechless when they saw the grand announcement pop up. Our hero was finally done dealing with his squad. He was honestly pretty exhausted. But after carrying that entire fight, Lamar's rewards had to be absolutely massive. His first prize was a rare Hathi wolf shard, allowing the owner to summon a companion. It would summon a powerful wolf to fight by his side in battle. Since he had his own territory, raising a cute baby cub seemed much smarter. Why summon a temporary adult beast when you can breed a permanent loyal pet? Lamar went with the second option and claimed an adorable baby Hathi wolf. The little puppy was tiny and incredibly grumpy. Naturally, Lamar immediately checked its stats. It had only 1 attack damage and required tons of mana to raise, but he was patient. He was in no rush. Suddenly, Lamar noticed his squad members had vanished. Assuming they ran off to hunt down the remaining monsters nearby. Nearby players kept struggling against waves of vicious beasts, suffering heavy losses. They threw everything they had, casting high-level spells into the charging wolf pack. The mutated pack was finally thinning out when Lamar made a big discovery. He located the second eye of the formation before anyone else even realized. The players' messy plans fell flat, and just 30 minutes later, Lamar acted. Lamar successfully activated the portal, ready for the upcoming boss raid. Around 70 players had gathered, ready to back up the guild leader. But they couldn't relax. The creeping poison fog was rapidly spreading across the field. If any of them died now, getting back here would be a nightmare. They searched for the active formation, but Lamar had already solo cleared another one. Only 6 formations remained, and the group hoped to secure at least one for themselves. Our hero chose the second option again, claiming another incredible reward. He secured another mythical beast. If he could raise one, raising 2 was easy. Through his breeding success, he gained top-tier equipment, but faced a major problem. Without enough healing potions, defeating the boss would be completely impossible. Suddenly, he caught the faint sound of voices coming through the thick fog. Other players were sneaking around, trying to avoid alerting nearby lurking monsters. They spotted a suspicious shadow, fearing it was a mutated boss wolf. But get this, a player suddenly ordered his crew to target the support team. The rogue squad ambushed the potion carriers, catching everyone off guard. Victims had no idea where this insane amount of damage was coming from. In a dangerous place like this, they couldn't even let them escape alive. The other squads had not even linked up yet, but then total chaos. In just a few moments, their leader is wiped out like the rest. The group is filled with massive regret for ever picking a fight with our monstrous main character. After 5 minutes, Lamar finally gets his gear back, but since his level is now past 10, the beginner protection is completely gone, a brutal wake-up call for our guy. The massive werewolf commands his squad to suit up. Our young hero wants to clear these players fast because the nearest entrance to the Southwest Formation Eye requires the power of the sacred fire. The boss waiting there is a giant scorpion, and there are about 300 players. Standing in the way, they are highly disciplined fighters, and their leader actually managed to sneak right up on them, but honestly, no need to worry. Because these arrogant guys are bound to get absolutely crushed in a few hours. Our hero takes a quick look at the official livestream for. Now watching Lara analyze the state of the lost Garden of Eden, she was currently holding the Western Formation, but taking down this boss will take ages. Our main guy notices that the Southwest Formation boss is dropping fast. If that one falls first, then the Northwest boss will take massive collateral damage. With the Western Formation cleared, our boy realizes this is a true test. Having secured the key intel, he plans to execute them in perfect order. Our wolf hero tells the squad to take a quick breather. But he is already itching to test his skills against the other players. He unleashes a massive web, trapping his foes instantly. The players did not expect a beast to possess such a broken skill, let alone summon more monsters. Our hero leads the charge, rallying everyone around him into the fray. The enemy has absolutely no clue where this monstrously strong boss came from. Compared to this nightmare, their previous targets seem completely harmless. The werewolf lunges straight for the core of the giant scorpion, our hero. Aims to crush the beast instantly and end this fight right here. Now he has only 2 bosses left to destroy by using his wither skills. He can suppress the boss, easily killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Meanwhile, at the Western Eye, players cautiously engage the powerful guardian. Our wolf hero targets a terrifying boss that converts stolen mana into health. Each beast is more nightmare fuel than the last, but an hour. Later, even this boss is reduced to a harmless pet, our young hero. Secures his 5th elite summon, only 1 eye of the formation remains. By capturing all 4 legendary divine beasts, he unlocks a secret mission. Now he has 24 hours to choose a summoning stone from these beasts. Naturally, he wants the absolute strongest option available, finally settling on the dark dragon Nidiga. Suddenly, his 2 companion beasts halt before the pillars. He braces for a massive event, only to realize this is different. Once they are locked into those ritual pillars, there is absolutely no getting them back. These massive spirit wolves radiate immense pressure, eager to unleash their full power. Even our battle-hardened hero is momentarily stunned by their overwhelming presence. Originally, he never intended to hunt down all 4 legendary creatures. But now the final beast quietly awaits his choice, staring right back. Player straight in the eye, the guy actually wanted to wake this thing up somehow. Looking around, he hoped these 4 creatures would help him, especially the Hathi. Wolf with his combos, the Widfenir who splinters, and the Hellhound who absorbs mana using Chimera skills. This combo would be highly useful. For any hero, our boy wanted to give it a shot, but the dragon was absolutely furious, determined to destroy everything nearby, leaving only the strongest standing. Suddenly, the whole squad took 20,000 damage, shocking the wolf who never expected to face 20,000 magic damage in a single hit without the help of those 4 ferocious beasts. He quickly yelled for everyone to spread out and retreat to safety. In reality, the web could absorb everything in just 1 second. At first, our hero thought it was useless, but the results surprised him. The werewolf then ordered the Hellhound to drain mana while the Chimera applied vertigo. Sure, the physical damage was pretty minor, but the poison effect made up for it. Now, this massive boss had 500,000 health. This fight would take ages. Meanwhile, an hour later in the northeast sector of the formation, the girl noticed something highly suspicious about the other alliance members who were clearly trying to isolate their group. Despite their agreement to work together, our guy warned that if too many players approached the pillar, the rival clan would pull some underhanded trick. The traitors wanted to snatch one of the legendary beasts for themselves, leaving everyone else with absolutely nothing. Fortunately, our boy managed to shatter the eastern eye of the formation, leaving only 2 left. The community mission was officially completed. Now they just had to collect their massive experience points and double-rate rewards. Our guy openly called the rival clan a bunch of lowlifes, not even worth talking to. Meanwhile, the girl wanted to track down the beast immediately. Pretty soon, the real show was about to begin. While most players couldn't even tame a single powerful beast, our hero snatched up 5 of them. The rival players demanded their share immediately, claiming they had already negotiated a deal with the traitor for the second reward. Naturally, the players wanted payback for this dirty move, and honestly, who wouldn't? But our guy realized he couldn't deactivate the status, or the pet would literally blow up. He still didn't know who was hiding inside the dungeon, or why they hadn't come out yet. Thankfully, after a tough battle, Lamar finally managed to defeat a powerful opponent. Now the squad had only a tiny sliver of health left to deplete on the main beast boss. Right outside the Lost Garden of Eden, a massive clan war erupted as players fought for dominance. Our guy couldn't understand why they risked everything and ignored basic rules of fair play. Meanwhile, some players kept looting the other alliance members, completely clueless about where those loud explosions were coming from. The hero urged his team to stay focused and keep moving. They tried to rush through as fast as possible before their window of opportunity closed. Players kept clashing to settle their scores. Meanwhile, our boy somehow managed to secure yet another baby beast. Suddenly, the system alerted him to a new mission called Blood Demon. Our hero had to clear out 3 hidden dungeons: Twilight of the Gods, Demon Temple, and Ghost Valley. To finish this, he had to bring all 4 baby beasts together to complete the quest, but unfortunately all 4 zones remained locked. This was turning out to be an incredibly tough mission. Meanwhile, the werewolf completed the Lost Garden of Eden quest, and the system immediately began teleporting them to the entrance of. Lamar suddenly lands right in the middle of a massive showdown in the garden area. Rival player alliances are clashing for justice, and he has no clue why. Why on earth are 1,000 players tearing each other apart? The fighters stare at the strange werewolf, utterly baffled by his sudden appearance. Just checking his username sends shivers down their spines. He looks incredibly high level. To skip any annoying chit-chat, Lamar taps into his high agility stats. Getting cornered by 1,000 players sounds like a nightmare, so he needs to bounce. He is desperate to reach his safe territory and immediately orders his pack to retreat. But the surrounding players have no intention of letting the werewolf master slip away. He cannot believe how fast these guys managed to corner him. Meanwhile, the hostile players are still busy beating each other to a pulp. Honestly, Lamar couldn't have asked for a better spot to initiate his escape plan. It would be pretty embarrassing if he failed to outsmart this chaotic mob. While the Alliance members argue over who represents true justice, his squad prepares. The werewolf pack charges forward, refusing to let the humans invade their territory. Any player bold enough to sneak across the border gets hunted down instantly. His powerful beasts easily crush anyone who dares to step too close. On top of that, Lamar manages to snatch some sweet loot right off their bodies. It is hilarious how the game system keeps spamming loud announcements about the battle. That's because two rival fighters are constantly stealing each other's bounties. Lamar waves his companions forward, eager to grab some extra loot for himself. And get this, he actually spots an unclaimed high-tier reward just sitting there. Everyone is too terrified of each other to grab the final prize. They are all desperately trying to claim the Alliance leader's head. But out of absolutely nowhere, Lamar leaps right into the fray. He crashes their little party and ruthlessly steals the final monster kill. The system immediately flashes a notification congratulating him on completing the challenge. With only 5 minutes left, he manages to pull off the ultimate heist. This timed event grants him the choice of one of 4 beast cubs. He has 24 hours to choose, making his future grind 10 times easier. 2 hours later, after listing all his hard-earned loot on the trading market, he is exhausted. Feeling completely drained, the young man crawls into bed and instantly passes out. By the time he wakes up, his sales have cleared, leaving him with quite a fortune. Over $1 million in savings, perfect for surprising his little sister, Monica. But his jaw drops when he sees 16 missed calls from her on his phone. Panicking, Lamar calls Monica back immediately, hoping she isn't too upset with him. He explains that he just woke up and asks if she is all right. Monica tearfully explains that her squad was brutally ambushed inside the game. After half an hour of venting, she finally calms down and tells him to rest. He tells her to get some sleep too, promising that everything will be fine. Lamar deeply regrets not being there to protect her when the fight broke out. But he keeps his tone gentle, reassuring her so she can finally get some peaceful rest. Once she hangs up, he realizes this situation is a massive deal. He cannot reveal his identity yet, but absolutely nobody touches his sister. This is personal, they are going to pay for this, and nothing will stand in his way. His right leg is already almost fully healed, and he will soon be a normal person again. He has reached level 14, and judging by this current pace, he will be able to fully recover after 3 more levels. Lu Chen is now even more curious about what the 9 Heavens game really represents, feeling more like real magic than any typical game on planet Earth. He orders his squad to take full responsibility for the 10 little ones, telling them to guard each of those babies individually and demanding they do not let them die while he goes for a stroll. He marvels at how vast the wilds are, realizing that tracking down the players from Hankeo is no easy task. It would be much simpler to just ask for help, so he asks the Iron Patriotism Alliance to search the area and report back immediately if they spot any enemies. He also asks them to report if Mr. Lamar has any good gear for sale. Then he charges forward to slaughter a crowd of rival players who stand no chance against his monstrous form. If he wants to help Monica solve her issues, he needs to become more than just a strong shoulder for her to lean on. First, he must complete the quest for his human form. Greenhouse remembers that the condition to unlock a human skin on the market is to slay over 1,000 monsters of the same species, surprisingly, other players also count as monsters. His current progress toward the human form is 450. Out of 1,000, now he can finally find a way to save his sister. He continues hunting down other players to grind for his human skin. After a long 10 hours of relentless farming, he is exhausted from flaying skins, deciding to calm down. He decides to check on his sister's progress. He sends a message asking how she is doing but receives grim news. Her squad is currently being hunted by enemies. He tells her not to panic and asks for her ID because he knows an expert who can help. She is immediately suspicious and asks many questions about how they met, but he just begs her to trust him. She notes that her brother does not play games, but he shares his secret ID. He then asks his sister to log off and rest, promising to handle all the trouble for her. After 2 days, he decides to add his sister as an anonymous friend so she will not realize that he is actually the legendary player, Lamar Snapchat. The young man successfully adds her. He introduces himself as a friend of her brother and they discuss some in-game matters. Through this chat, he learns that his sister is the main target of the enemy clan's aggression. The beast knows that the neutral zone is packed with other players. If he heads there, it will trigger massive chaos. He coordinates once again with Monica to arrange the meeting spot, planning the exact moment when he will make his move. They successfully finalize their deal, and she is even willing to provide the. But here is the crazy part. He has absolutely no idea that the remaining group of players is waiting right outside his door. He also remembers that the leopard boss is nearby. Meanwhile, his enemies are busy fighting the monster to claim their rewards. They did not expect to face the boss from the Lost Garden of Eden. They suspect that this beast holds a massive grudge against them and will not back down easily. Our beastly protagonist wants to finally wipe out the last of this terrified clan who are shaking in fear. Caught completely off guard, they didn't even know what to do before the poison finished them off. The werewolf was disappointed that only a healing potion dropped instead of real gear. Suddenly, a notification popped up from a random player, reminding him of the video. He was actually pretty curious to see how his sister looked inside the game. Meanwhile, a girl watched as the other players successfully managed to escape the zone. They thanked him for clearing the quest, asking him not to hold them up. But that clever strategy backfired completely, turning into an unexpected trap for her. She couldn't believe her rival seriously hoped to actually pull off this mission. Before starting, she demanded Monica get down on her knees. Crazy new sis adored her brother. She loved her brother deeply, making it weird that he wasn't rushing to help. Meanwhile, our werewolf was absolutely fuming, wanting to rip this annoying guy to shreds. He wanted to smash them to dust, but first he activated his human transformation. The spell worked, turning him into a stunningly handsome guy. Finally, he looked normal. Seriously, he needed to hide his player name fast before things got complicated. Otherwise, he'd remain a wolf in sheep's clothing. Suddenly, he noticed something. His sister Sis was already totally losing her cool. He needed to leave. He decided to head straight to the level 10 capital to assess the situation. He also had to swap out his gear so he wouldn't draw unwanted attention. Offline, Sis was absolutely fuming over the defeat while her friend comforted Monica. She told Monica not to worry, since the boss and everyone else went eating. They'd be back soon, and then they would all help her get revenge together. To Monica, this felt like a highly personal vendetta against the guy who crossed her. But if they got involved, it would drag their company's name into a feud. She felt guilty about hurting the company's image, but her friend reassured her. After all, the Imperial Guild was massive, so nothing terrible was likely to happen. Meanwhile, the boy ran into a unique monster known as a level 11. Ghostly Beauty. He thought these level 11 creatures actually looked pretty cool. But they were definitely hostile. Just then, an unexpected squad of players crossed his path. Seeing him wandering alone, they offered to help. Suddenly, a familiar face appeared. He instantly recognized the beautiful girl who had helped him buy his apartment. It turns out she was also playing Empyrean under the character name Asami. She had just looted some shoulder pads to sell, offering to split the profits. She wondered why he was wandering the forest alone, assuming he got lost. But our hero was a true lone wolf, completely unaffiliated with any guild. He noticed some players bragged about slaying an enemy every 10 steps. He figured they were actual high-tier experts, but the reality was far different. The boss wanted to force everyone to bow, but things quickly backfired on them. In fact, the guy seemed weirdly amused by her attitude. The boy chimed in. He asked which guild they belonged to, playing the part of an innocent newbie. Turns out they were guildless too, having paid a mercenary to guide them through. They assumed he was in the same boat, and he just nodded along. He honestly didn't expect the main city to be this crowded. Asami laughed. She explained it was totally normal, especially since he was a fresh arrival. He had missed how chaotic the city got before the recent server split. Now the bustling streets were completely packed, far eclipsing the quiet starting zone. He stared up, thinking about the rankings of the Twin Towers, which hadn't changed in ages. Up on that board sat the absolute strongest of the strong. Everyone leaving or entering the city admired them, and honestly, many were incredibly jealous. Sami had heard that the top ranker, Caesar, was a pro fighter with legendary reaction speeds. To her, it made total sense he held first place. In this game, gear, levels, reflexes, and strategy dictated everything. So the leaderboard was constantly shifting because of those legendary players. He recalled how elite guilds constantly fought for these top ranks. Now that he was strong enough, he could finally enter the main city too. His friend warned him not to worry about those unobtainable pros just yet. Our young hero just chuckled, asking what kind of people they really were. His friend admitted they were monsters, but joked that he was glad they weren't. After all, it was much better to just enjoy the epic show. Meanwhile, the girl noticed how carefully our guy hid his personal info. She easily guessed his secret from his basic gear, but kept quiet to protect him. Suddenly, her friend urged them to stop chatting and go buy some potions. As they walked, she brought up the idea of starting their own guild. While Asami liked the thought, she doubted her sister would quit acting for it. She did not want her sister relying solely on her in this virtual world. Still, our hero thought it was a great escape since Lena hated her producers. He never imagined Lena would be a star, but her looks made it obvious. She was incredibly gorgeous after all. Soon, they walked along the bustling streets. They watched the other players moving around in this vibrant, lively city. Finally, the young man got to see the legendary Twin Towers with his own eyes. There were solo and guild trials, but since he was solo, he chose the single path. He would tackle the Divine Punishment Tower alone. Suddenly, some players blocked him. They rudely shoved him aside, telling him to watch where he was going. They sneered, and Lamar reminded our guy of the city's golden rule. When you see these elite players, it's always best to stay out of their way. Whispers quickly spread that 3 top masters had united to challenge the tower. They were widely recognized as the absolute strongest leaders of the entire server. Since his sister was offline, our hero figured he should test his own limits. He wanted to climb a bit and see how far he could actually go. Nobody expected this newcomer to challenge the newly unlocked Tower of Divine Punishment. The surrounding crowd burst into laughter when they saw him step forward. His basic trash tier outfit made his grand ambition look like a complete joke. Yet he calmly stepped up to face the brutal tower trials anyway. Other players just sneered, telling everyone to ignore this delusional idiot. They joked about how quickly and miserably this low-level kid would fail. No way, they watched in absolute shock as he actually entered the trial gates. He could have displayed his true, mind-blowing stats on the public leaderboard. But he chose to keep them hidden. The girl hushed her friend to pay attention. The massive screens displayed the top 3 masters, but his remained completely blank. People instantly realized a mysterious, unranked player had just entered the lobby. Everyone stared in confusion at the strange layout as Lena's name popped up. He tells the crew to focus on the screen and study the methods of the top 3 leaders. Soon, one legendary expert battles a fierce wild monster. This fighter is completely determined to crush the beast and shatter the speed record. Lawrence never expected this kid to survive for a full 15 seconds. Honestly, that is actually a decent result. Asami still considers it a weak effort. After all, he wears weird gear and has some decent skills. She even thinks about inviting him to her team. Meanwhile, others cannot believe the guy survived for a whole 2 minutes, guessing he was actively analyzing the tower. Our hero just mutters about secret research. That requires a massive level of at least 10,000. It seems impossible to rely on that alone. The girl notes that after 3 minutes, the first floor must end, yet she wonders why this mystery player's timer keeps ticking. This nameless fighter actually survives for 3 minutes and 11 seconds. The Rookie does not get why he was selected or why he cannot move. On to the next floor. Instead, the kid is busy swinging his sword and slaying a level 10 wolf, collecting 100 bronze coins. He keeps farming them. The young man is thrilled to earn 100 coins per kill. He was totally broke before, but now he has the perfect chance to grind some serious cash. System warns that if a challenger remains on the first floor of the tower of divine punishment for over 4 minutes, he will be forced to the next floor. While he grumbles at this annoying system rule, the other players call him a complete fool for trying to show off like that. The young man is actually having a blast, fully intending to keep tearing through these mobs. The kid wipes out every single monster right up to the final 4th minute, securing the maximum possible payout. In a flash, our broke protagonist upgrades his loot from bronze to 40 silver coins. Talk about a massive upgrade. The boy just found a goldmine. Meanwhile, the spectators are completely lost and cannot understand how a mere newcomer wields such crazy power. They struggle to accept that this nameless player is actually the rookie they doubted, wondering exactly how far he can push his limit. Back in the trial, at 2 minutes and 33 seconds, one top leader reaches his limit. This is followed by 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Another elite player fails to hold out any longer. This veteran has no clue what kind of crazy bug is messing with him. Game today, he tries to focus, knowing he has to reach the 4th floor. Surviving for 3 minutes, the top ranker hopes to squeeze out just a little more. Finally, he clears it, hitting the 4th floor at 38 seconds. Though he expected to fail instantly, this is actually his personal best score. Surviving 48 seconds on this deadly 4th floor is pure torture. His followers are cheering wildly, calling their leader a god-tier idol. They believe he is the very first person to successfully scale the 4th floor. But this top player wonders why the wider crowd is dead silent. Looking around, he realizes everyone else is staring at a completely different screen. People are cheering for the rookie. They stare in absolute disbelief at the timer, unable to fathom how this is even happening. Our anonymous player survived a full 56 seconds on the brutal 4th floor, and eventually the guy hangs in there, clocking 1 minute and 2 seconds on the 4th floor. Honestly, he is pretty satisfied with such minimal training, taking home only 150 silver coins, but he wants to climb to the next floor. Right now, onlookers cannot believe this stranger managed this insane result. Before, they worried he would get slain by a level 11 silver wolf. Now, it is clear solo players are absolutely insane. Back inside, the massive horde of 5th floor monsters is absolutely mind-blowing. Seriously, the chat is completely losing it, asking the same question about who this rookie is, calling him insanely powerful. Many actually assume it was Lamar. Still, some warn not to be silly, as Lamar has been streaming this entire time. Turns out, the legend literally just logged into the chat. The host greets him, and Lamar messages that he never expected anyone to climb up to the 5th floor. The hero realizes that now nobody has to suspect that he is Lamar. The guy prefers keeping his identity completely hidden. Our hero figures he cannot conquer too many floors just yet, so 5 is enough. For his very first try, he manages to clock a survival time of 2 minutes. 19 seconds on the 5th floor, earning 200 silver coins. The players cannot believe it. He is a beast. Our hero notices everyone staring directly at him. A young player hesitantly steps up to congratulate him on conquering the 5th floor, finding the achievement absolutely mind-blowing. The kid never expected this, clueless as to how the hero did it, but want to learn. Hearing this, Lamar tells the kid to start running. The legend is furious. Nobody can climb floors by running like an ordinary player. He notes the hero has trash gear, yet somehow got this far. Most players have absolutely no clue who he is. Some think he is using a cheat or system glitch. Lamar demands an immediate explanation of his methods. However, our hero does not owe them any answers. Still, Lamar tells the loud crowd to stop shouting so much, because this is no longer his territory. This is an absolute shocker. No one can believe what they just heard. They are speechless. Now, everyone realizes this newcomer is on a different level. They fear he might be the only active player worldwide who has conquered the 5th floor of the tower. His real identity must be something insanely massive. Still, the crowd remains completely clueless about their private chat. Soon, an administrative maid steps forward, asking the hero to register his team, but our guy refuses. to claim the sole reward in the upcoming Demon Conqueror tournament. However, creating a team unlocks a passive bonus that permanently boosts his health. Regeneration by 1.2 units per second if he forms his own team. He needs a minimum of 4 members. He remembers some guys he met who wanted to band together. Lamar also wanted a squad for easy gold. So our protagonist asks the players for a massive favor, letting them leave whenever they want. Still, Asami warns him that tackling this dungeon is practically suicidal for low-level players, but the young man simply tells them not to worry. He can easily run solo, but he genuinely wants to protect them from anyone trying to bully them. All they have to do. He happily helped with the request, ensuring that no extra gear was required. He sent the young man straight to the registration counter. At the counter, the receptionist demanded an incredibly massive registration fee of 50 silver coins. They had just survived a deadly poison mist forest and had nothing. But the young man quietly paid, so Lamar thanked them for officially joining. Asami immediately congratulated them on the achievement. With the squad formed, they could finally enter the Demon Conqueror's tower. Even though they were much weaker than the mysterious protagonist, they wanted to help him succeed. The hero politely declined their help, yet thanked the entire squad for being so kind. The guy quickly noticed a massive crowd of curious spectators outside. The massive crowd was watching, completely confused why he was entering all alone. Many spectators whispered that this mysterious guy was either incredibly strong or completely insane. The Wild Waves team registered his official entry at a lightning speed of exactly 11 seconds. He cleared the trials and immediately advanced to the next floor. Seriously, everyone watching realized this guy was completely built different. Skeptics were absolutely outraged, completely unable to comprehend his insane and rapid solo clearing speed. Meanwhile, Monica stared at the active leaderboard in utter disbelief. No rookie should ever be able to shatter Caesar's legendary record like this. But looking closely at the leaderboard, they saw the runner was actually listed as anonymous. But Mona fiercely disagreed with her highly excited friend. She pointed out that Lamar was live streaming during the entire run. If it was not Lamar, then who was this mysterious genius? Elsewhere, the brave guild members immediately stepped up to completely confront the girl's main abuser. She thanked them all for showing such highly genuine concern. Meanwhile, our hero was having a total blast, effortlessly wiping out weak monsters. He easily reached the 3rd floor, finding the entire tower's challenge to be incredibly simple. Now his reward was finally waiting for him, while Lawrence watched with deep admiration. To Lawrence, the mysterious captain who easily cleared the 3rd floor was legendary. The mysterious leader instantly became an idol, quickly proving their team was the absolute strongest. The girls assumed their squad was now the absolute strongest. They repeatedly praised the greatness of the Wild Waves and their leader. Asami wondered if the stranger would head over to the next station. But the guy declined because joining a permanent guild required far too much of his energy. Asami kept hoping he would return soon so they could grind together. The hero simply said that if fate decides so, then so be it. Soon, everyone in town was buzzing about the powerhouse team. Lawrence was incredibly proud and excited to belong to the most discussed squad in town. Lara becoming an alternate on the squad felt completely and utterly unreal. With only 4 members, Asami realized they had a truly massive opportunity. Lara was deeply confused, but her friend explained the entire plan. Lara was totally confused by this, but her friend quickly explained their entire brilliant strategy. If their captain hates being in the spotlight, they could easily run all the PR. Lara nervously asked if this massive plan was actually appropriate. Asami shrugged because they were not hurting anyone else anyway. They would just be clearing missions together as allies. Lawrence asks the opposing leader if he would actually agree to something like that, but then the young man suddenly realizes that his avatar now reveals his real face, and Monica will definitely recognize him. No mask, it is too late now, so Lawrence asks the commander if they can build their own squad, and the commander easily grants his permission to do whatever he wants, leaving the young man absolutely thrilled with this amazing positive answer. The commander is just as happy to support his new ally. Lawrence wonders, where is his sister? Right on cue, Monica and her entire squad run straight into the rival team once again. Their leader wants to understand the enemy fully before wiping them out. Monica has absolutely no idea who these players are, but she honestly does not care. one opponent tells her to stop lying. His team did not start this fight. In fact, he claims this is all her fault. She was apparently furious, just looking at her own character and name, so. She tried to fight back and he retaliated. Now, this leader cannot tolerate the sheer audacity of this girl, so he orders his entire squad to attack her. Monica has no idea why her boss is stepping up. An angry protector demands to know if Trash Guild would dare bully his woman. Monica is pretty worried as her boss arrives. Step back, her boss tells her to step back and leave this to him. Jack introduces himself as Jack, the captain of the guild, explaining that game misunderstandings happen all the time. He points out that misunderstandings always happen in games. There is no need to escalate the fight. Honestly, this enemy boss is just looking to start trouble. He mocks Jack, claiming he lacks any real power. He thinks Jack wants to make peace. But he boldly declares that Jack's entire team is complete trash. This is way too far, and Jack realizes the enemy leader is completely out of control. But the arrogant boss is convinced a weakling like Jack cannot handle him. Instead, he asks his girlfriend what she wants to do with them. She demands that they all drop to their knees, beg for mercy, and call her mistress. Absolutely not. There is no way Jack's team will humiliate themselves. They refuse to humiliate themselves like that. The enemy leader sneers, deciding to teach them how vast the world truly is. With a vicious smirk, he lunges forward. Jack is caught completely off guard as the opposing boss suddenly launches a direct attack. Chaos erupts. A huge brawl breaks out as both sides refuse to back down. Monica shows off her surprising power, easily knocking back the attackers. She urges their manager to run away from here immediately. But her loyal teammate refuses to run. They are a single, united squad. They fight together, but prepare yourselves, because everything suddenly goes sideways. He is sucked into a massive, overpowering skill. He is completely trapped. Pure garbage, the enemy leader mocks their bond, calling their teamwork pathetic. He sneers that this weak manager is a disaster who will get them all killed. He offers to give her one final chance if she gets on her knees and begs. Keep dreaming. He has no intention of waiting around any longer, and immediately unleashes a brutal, devastating follow-up attack on her. Defeated and stripped of their gear, the squad revives nearby. Monica wonders where their manager went, but her friend says the leader is desperately trying to figure something out. Just then, she notices someone nearby. Mysterious anonymous player starts searching for her to meet up. He headed straight to the girl's house, completely ignoring the warnings to stay out of it. Lamar told her not to sweat the small stuff, but Monica still felt incredibly uneasy. She warned him that the enemy team would show absolutely no mercy. Lamar just smiled and told her not to worry, promising that no one was going to die. Jack apologized as the team leader. He really did not want to provoke their enemies. Monica told them not to worry, feeling deeply ashamed for causing so much trouble. Focusing back on the mission, she decided to just hunt basic monsters for now. She could not believe they were stuck dealing with these annoying NPCs forever. She begged them to ignore her and just focus on their own business. Lamar could not believe how cruel someone had to be to constantly torment the same player. But Lamar made a heavy promise, and you just know he's going to keep it. This would be the absolute last day anyone ever dared to mock his sister. In a terrible mood, he told the newcomer to just go die already. Lamar asked him directly if he was the one who had been tormenting his sister. The leader laughed, finding it hilarious that someone had come to stand up for her. He could not believe this fool was actually serious about getting revenge for that girl. Monica watched in shock, realizing this protective warrior was indeed her beloved brother. Lamar confirmed it was him, coldly declaring that it was far too late for apologies. The enemies just laughed, thinking this newcomer was nothing but a delusional, weak idiot. Monica ran up, begging her brother to leave before he got hurt. But he told her not to worry, promising to easily sweep these idiots away. The enemy leader sneered, finally recognizing him as the arrogant Lamar who wanted to fight. One of his lackeys told the boss to relax, stepping forward to take the first shot. He boasted about crushing Lamar with a single punch, asking his friends not to interfere. Monica begged him to run, warning him that this clan was far too powerful. But Lamar told her to stand back, declaring he always finishes what he starts. The overconfident lackey charged straight at Lamar, who stood there completely motionless. But in an instant, the attacker was completely humiliated. Lamar ended him with one effortless strike, instantly deleting the trash from the game. And just like that, the laughing stopped. Trust me, their smug faces instantly melted into pure terror. Panic set in. The confused leader desperately claimed it had to be a bug. Lamar ordered them to apologize to Monica immediately or face complete annihilation. The leader told him to stop acting tough, ordering his remaining men to attack. They all charged at the main character at once, hoping to overwhelm him. With a single sweep, Lamar wiped out the entire group, dealing massive damage. Average hits of 2,000 damage left the enemy team utterly decimated. Only a few survivors remained, trembling in fear before a very angry brother. He wanted apologies. They just stood there, unable to comprehend his insane power. He was one-shotting players left and right. Some tried to run, but it was too late. Lamar had no intention of letting any of these bullies get away clean. They briefly managed to slip away while Lamar dealt with other incoming players. They did not realize they were fighting the legendary conqueror of the Divine Tower. Cornering the terrified leader, Lamar coldly told him it was his turn to beg. The arrogant boss fell to his knees, desperately begging for mercy for his foolishness. But Lamar was not about to let him off that easily. He is not letting them off without a word, demanding an immediate apology right now. He promises their guild will never know peace. Trembling, the girl drops to her knees and begs for mercy, trying to fix the mess she had created. But he is not letting it slide. A simple apology will not be enough today. He expects a heavy price for this disrespect, to show she is serious. The girl hands over a weapon to Monica as a peace offering. No one expected this. A rare shard bat is not something you just give away. Money cannot buy this. The Wicked Wench Guild notices the trade. How does Monica know someone this powerful? A single player who just crushed an entire alliance. Intrigued, she demands a meeting. Meanwhile, Monica sincerely thanks the mysterious stranger who saved her from the mob. She begs him to reveal his real name. He smiles and tells her to just call him Musami, claiming to be an old friend of her brother. He insists it was nothing, refusing to take her incredibly valuable shard weapon. It is better she keeps it. A weapon like that deserves a proper owner. He makes a promise. Her battles are now his, and nobody touches her again. If anyone causes her trouble, all she has to do is say the word. Her companion tells Monica to relax, genuinely thrilled she has such a powerful protector. Meanwhile, back in his own territory, the boy feels the ambient energy shifting. Pure mana is condensing. He wonders what kind of boost this pill will give. The daily reward from the Tower of Divine Punishment is an absolute mystery. For now, he holds off on using it, focusing on gear upgrades instead. He orders his squad to gear up. Within 2 hours, he hits level 15. After farming demon tigers, his talent unlocks, nearly doubling his raw attack power. Time to review his new skills. He checks the leaderboard of the server. The top Korean player is level 14, meaning this tier 15 dungeon is massive. It will level him up instantly. Meanwhile, 3 legendary guilds are making moves. They claim they will be the very first to conquer the Tiger King dungeon. The young man laughs at their arrogance, deciding to tag along and watch the show. Suddenly, a live stream begins, broadcasting their attempt across the entire server. Everyone watches as they attempt to sweep through the fearsome Tiger King dungeon. Lara calls it foolish pride, but the player coordination is surprisingly solid. Her companion points out they are going in completely blind, without intel. Entering the Tiger King lair unprepared means they could easily get wiped out. Lara knows the outcome rests solely on the decisions of their 2 leaders. Meanwhile, our hero is not waiting around. He starts clearing out monsters. He tears through every beast in sight, harvesting a massive pile of valuable materials. The drop rates here are incredible, yielding rare beast skins and high-tier loot. It is a goldmine of experience points and uncommon green gear. After equipping a new pair of boots, his dexterity skyrockets. With his speed boosted, he leads his squad directly into the next chamber. They pull multiple mobs at once, slicing down everything in their path. Even the massive Tiger King itself is not spared from the onslaught. The beast roars in anger, insulted that a low-level player dares challenge him. But he does not hold back, engaging the boss in a brutal clash. Elsewhere, Lara inspects her gear, marveling at a level 12 tiger head hat. 19 armor, 19 strength, 18 dexterity, and 25 build. This was massive. Lara could hardly believe her eyes after reading these absurdly overpowered stats. The 3 Sacred Guilds team was growing stronger by the absolute second. Meanwhile, players on the Korean server began bragging about being the undisputed best. To Lara, it felt like they viewed the Chinese server as nothing but trash. She quietly wondered where their hero and the others had gone. Just then, a system alert announced the death of the level 18 Dark Moon Tiger King. This boss dropped heavy loot, and Lamar marveled at his new high-crit weapon. He kept slicing through lesser mobs, using them to farm easy upgrades. Unfortunately, the young warrior failed to secure a single blue-tier drop from those mobs. He only walked away with some basic leggings and a minor piece of gear. But then Lamar tracked down the very first hidden boss on the entire server. As he prepared to fight, he wondered how the Korean server was doing. Back on the boards, Lara noticed the Koreans had already cleared their boss 5 times. It was an incredibly tough fight, but their stats were actually quite close. Just 3 minutes later, the foreign squad finally took down that first boss. They snatched up 3 green items, thoroughly hyped about beating out their rivals. Yet Lara noticed a strange issue with those 3 green drops. Even so, the 3 Saints faction grew noticeably stronger with that gear. Her friend pointed out how insanely hard it was to assemble level 14 players. They could only wonder what the true legends of their continent were doing. A friend remarked that talk was cheap, they needed real action now. Meanwhile, Lamar was busy fighting a desperate battle against high-tier beasts. He managed to secure 2 blue items, quickly checking their stats. He whipped out a level 15 Shadow Fury jacket, a highly coveted blue rare piece. Lamar stared at the incredible stats, desperate to equip it immediately. However, he still desperately needed to find some decent pants. Our hero was literally still running around in rookie trousers. He frowned in confusion, suspecting another hidden boss had spawned 10 minutes early. Over on the rival server, the other players celebrated their freshly looted gear. Lamar knew reaching level 13 was their ticket to farm bosses. This would easily kickstart a massive cycle of power-ups and easy victories. 20 minutes later, a terrifying beast emerged, looking for a fight. But instead of a whole army, only our lone protagonist stood waiting. Lamar was ready to end this, but suddenly, his entire body completely froze over. It felt like he was a frozen mammoth trapped inside the Ice Age. The beast unleashed another wave of its devastating frost magic right at him. Lamar desperately struggled to break free from this chilling, frozen nightmare. Fortunately, his warm blood easily melted right through that freezing temperature. Facing down the giant frozen lion, he unleashed a brand new sword technique. The beast shattered, dropping level 6 shards and 2 excellent blue items. He also grabbed a level 15 dark frost mantle, but still no pants. He sighed, wondering why a decent pair of leg armor refused to drop. Perhaps his luck would finally turn when the third hidden boss spawned. For now, he unlocked the Tiger Catcher title, boosting all attributes by 10%. The system offered him a spot on the leaderboard. He refused. But he declined. He just wanted to head outside for 30 minutes and hunt down mobs. He never expected this. A massive crowd of players blocked his path. Everyone stared in total shock at his gear. They whispered excitedly. Every single piece of his armor was rare blue tier. The young man sighed. Why did he ever want attention? He should have just run away. But the rumors were already spreading. Everyone assumed this anonymous player had cleared the whole cave. Rumors spread. Most felt the Korean team was too arrogant, but anonymous would soon humble them. Their guild leader snapped, "Shut up and check the server leaderboard right now." One player asked what the record was for the sacred caves. 46 minutes and 24 seconds. That was when the very last boss actually fell. No warning at all. Reviewing this recorded boss battle footage, they saw the Koreans had finished their run in 47 minutes and 44 seconds, beating the top Chinese and Japanese players before. Their guild leader openly mocked them. Still, some called the data fake, cheaters surely, but unfortunately nobody else could clear it any faster. The gaming community was furious at the toxic trolls who insulted other players based on their nationality. The backlash was growing rapidly, with players defending China and Japan, but looking at these crazy results, nobody could believe that a single, nameless player did it all so incredibly fast. Honestly, who could clear a dungeon in minutes? Most players simply doubted his run, calling it photoshopped. But then, the young man told them to wait. The official website confirmed the new system announcement was finally live. Players could re-enter the Tiger King's cave in 30 minutes. Everyone waited for Anonymous to return and absolutely crush the Korean team. One girl suggested they stream the live run right outside the Tiger King's dungeon entrance. Her friend agreed. Meanwhile, our hero was completely baffled by the huge crowd staring at his rare gear. Just then, Laura stepped up and thanked him for defending the Chinese players. He politely asked her to let him through, and the admiring crowd quickly stepped aside to let him pass. The young man still had no idea what the big deal was. It did not matter to him. He just needed to hurry up and farm those rare greaves quickly. Outside, excited players held their breath as they watched him. Anonymous entered the instance, eager to see his final clearing time. Inside, the young man commanded his summons to push forward and finish this fight even faster. Lamar fought the monsters fiercely, but our hero was moving at lightning speed. His upgraded stats were incredibly powerful. He grinned, feeling the rush of his newly elevated level. Now he could hunt even faster. Outside, Laura prayed that Anonymous would shatter the record. Right then, her friend ran over with some extremely terrible news. The top Korean squad had borrowed high-tier equipment from an allied guild. Ding, now they were geared up to outrun Anonymous. Laura knew they had a massive advantage. Their boosted gear would make them incredibly fast. It was a serious problem. Still, she believed in him. Soon after, the Korean team set a record of 39 minutes and 3 seconds, leaving everyone wondering if anyone could ever match their insane speed. They had shattered the 40-minute barrier with absolute ease. His absolute strength was astounding, calling everyone else garbage and forcing them to train harder. Our guy realized that Korea had borrowed equipment from other guilds, assuming Anonymous would never be able to break the record. Meanwhile, Lamar did not sweat it, confident his new pants would drop from the level 3 boss. The young man wanted to handle the raging tiger boss as soon as possible. Once again, the boy took down a powerful level 19 monster, gaining plenty of attributes and rewards. The young man was finally able to get his hands on those blue-grade greaves. Suddenly, the system announced that the hero received a level 15 black iron ghost gold sword. Purple gear. Once again, the system offered to show his results on a leaderboard, but Lamar was far more interested in looking at his new greaves. In Tiger Tears, the level 15 blue rarity knight greaves possessed amazing stats, giving off a blue true flame effect. Lamar also grabbed the purple rarity Tiger Tears, adding incredible stats to his combat. He also got his hands on a pair of dual swords, each boasting its own unique attribute, making them incredibly awesome. Just then, they noticed 40 minutes had already passed, and the Korean team looked like they were about to win, yet Lara kept believing, wanting to see the guy with her own eyes, hoping for an Anonymous victory. Right then, the system alerted that the hero finished the test in 38 minutes and 44 seconds. Lara was thrilled to see how well Anonymous had done. Lamar was able to emerge from the dungeon with his new weapons, never expecting to meet such a massive crowd. The players could not believe how cool the kid looked with his new weapon. Seeing that purple gear for the very first time, they all begged to get at least one quick look at it. The kid agreed to show them, but asked everyone to take a step back. The hero made the weapon float in midair, displaying the terrifying stats of this weapon of total destruction. The players could not even imagine encountering such raw power, especially since they were dual blades. Lamar told everyone to return in half an hour. They were thrilled to meet him again. Lamar thought the cave was cool. Really, if clearing it out was not for money, he wondered what else it was meant for. Then the players noticed that the holy trio had cleared the cave in 36 minutes and 22 seconds, hoping Anonymous could beat their records. They truly believed that with his purple weapon, he could do it. After a while, the boy headed back in to keep farming the things he needed. His new weapons felt incredibly comfortable to use, and the young man became more excited, growing eager to test them on another boss. The boy did not know if he was just being greedy. This time he got 23 green, 11 blue gears, 1 tiger tier materials, and 280,000 experience. The hero decided to call it a day. In the end, they managed to secure a new record of 31 minutes and 52 seconds, but the 4 strongest guilds put together 5-man teams to beat them. Lara told everyone not to worry, firmly believing that Anonymous would be even faster next time. The girl could not believe how the Anonymous hero managed to get out in under 10 minutes. Some even worried he made a mistake and got killed by a monster. It was not as if the hero thought the monsters would be weak from the start. But Lamar soon realized his own stupidity had caused his sudden death. He checked his inventory and accidentally muttered a command to exit the area. Since the system marked it complete, all the high-value boss monsters were lost. The girl pleaded with the anonymous hero not to blame himself for trying his best. Of course, she could not truly grasp what completing this run actually meant. Could anyone actually finish it? She was stunned by the massive new record. The rival Chinese Society of Leaders had swept through the area in record time. Specifically 9 minutes and 32 seconds, the foreign guild members celebrated their triumph. They wanted to send the Korean players proof of their dominance immediately. Brimming with smug confidence, they asked if the Koreans could ever top that speed. The local clan was utterly baffled by how anyone achieved such a crazy run. Looking at the countless boss encounters, the gap in clear times was simply massive. The leader told his member to close the official site before they died of embarrassment. He repeatedly cursed at his own mind-boggling, foolish stupidity. His tiger cried over the grave mistake, leaving the other players deeply confused. Why despise his own amazing score? He had run the dungeon 4 times solo, reaching level 17 in the process. He really should have remained inside to gather and sell off the loot. The system rewarded his fast clear with double experience. This double experience lasted for 24 hours, giving him a perfect sales window. He planned to sell common gear at standard market prices under his guild banner. Rare green items would be costlier, but he still needed to price the epic loot. Those rare blue and purple items required level 15, making them highly coveted. He knew nobody could afford their true value yet, so he decided to wait. Next, he checked his rare, blue-grade materials. He held several vials of tiger blood, though he forgot what they crafted. Even so, he knew players would desperately need these rare crafting ingredients. He listed each unit for 300 coins, expecting them to sell quickly. In mere moments, his private balance jumped past 1,000 coins. Realizing their massive value, he quickly listed every single one. Suddenly, he noticed his balance sat at 518,000. And he still held 17 drops of the shining tiger blood. With a fortune easily within reach, he decided to take a short break. He headed back to the mountain to hunt divine beasts at a slower pace. That quiet tiger cave was his favorite spot, but a sudden call interrupted him. An acquaintance named Jean called, eager to buy his entire stock of materials. The buyer pleaded with him not to inflate the price, and they negotiated. After settling on a deal, something else began to worry the young player. His secret identity had been exposed, but the stranger offered to help him hide. He understood that while earning massive wealth was great, it brought extreme danger. He really needed to be more careful to keep himself and his sister safe. In exchange for a safe house, he offered a generous discount on his materials. He couldn't help but notice the massive power gap between local and global servers. He worried that if their server collapsed entirely, players would have nowhere left to go. To tank them, Jean warned them not to rush. They had only one hope left. They had to rely on Lamar. By morning, the boy received 5 million points. Insane, his entire squad was already level 17, and even better. His top 10 divine monsters had already reached max level. Meanwhile, the enemy commander checked his roster. Their main objective was simple: stop the anonymous player from double experience. Then, a scout realized something. This hero always trained inside the Tiger King's cave. They should have waited at the entrance. The leader ordered his spellcasters to make sure to cast a soul binding curse on him, ensuring he could not escape or call for backup during battle. They wanted him completely trapped. For Korea, this leader was ready to do whatever it took to beat China in the future. Now they were guaranteed to strike it rich if they could steal the hero's ultimate gear. Some hesitated. This target was known to clear dungeons completely solo. With multiple divine beasts at his side, the leader dismissed their fears. Foreign players would join their siege. As for those divine beast dungeons, they could figure that out later, ready to strike. Their entire force was going to focus on the lone Chinese player. This had to be a fast, clean kill. To stay safe, he ordered everyone to hide their active usernames. The squad set off to hunt him down. Meanwhile, Lamar had stayed up all night, completing one last defense run. Before heading to sleep, suddenly he noticed movement in the thick forest. Suspicious figures were darting from tree to tree. He was exhausted, seriously exhausted. But he refused to log off just yet, safely leaving his avatar inside. He finally took a nap. The ambushers waited outside for 40 minutes. Hearing nothing, absolutely silence, but their leader told them to stay calm. Believing their plan was foolproof, there was no way China could level up. This fast, meanwhile, Lara discovered a deeply unsettling situation. Another group of hidden players hunting everyone down. Talk about a complete nightmare. This was not an isolated incident. Checking the main website, she realized the terrifying truth. It was happening everywhere. The entire server was under siege by an organized group of foreign invaders. Foreign players were hunting everyone down like sport. Suddenly, the poor girl took a brutal blow from behind. She never saw it coming. She had no idea how massive this invasion force actually was. Over 400,000 elite players had united to destroy China. They laughed at the locals, hoping for a single savior. Desperate, she messaged Lamar but received no reply. Meanwhile, our hero woke up, completely refreshed, feeling a bit hungry after his long rest. Suddenly, he saw his inbox flooded with urgent messages. Reading them, Lamar realized that invaders were spawn camping Chinese players, keeping them from leveling, guarding their corpses and spamming insults on the forums. Then his phone rang in the real world. Lamar answered immediately, demanding to know who did this. A sobbing Monica explained that her high-tier arsenal was completely destroyed. When he asked who targeted her, there was only one answer: foreign players. She cried that her guild leader had such high hopes for her and handed over some top-tier gear to maximize her double experience, urging her to start swinging. But every piece of her equipment ended up shattered, leaving her completely clueless on how to tell her guild leader. The hero gently told his sister to stop crying, since it was just equipment anyway. Still, she would have to forge new equipment. Her brother understood her pain completely and promised to help. Meanwhile, Monica felt the foreign players were incredibly pathetic, using skills just to guard player corpses so she would not be able to respawn back safely in the city, forcing her to revive right where she died. The young man asked for her corpse coordinates, promising his friend would quickly go rescue her. Once the hero managed to track down the exact location of Monica's character, he swore to his sister that he would brutally punish the cowards who made her cry. Meanwhile, the enemy leaders sneered at their pathetic rescue attempts. They kept moving forward, ruthlessly wiping out anyone in their path. But a squad of Chinese players was determined to protect Anonymous, no matter the cost. Many of these foreign invaders possessed incredible combat skills, showing off plenty of rare blue weapons. One girl in the rescue team yelled to fight to the absolute bitter end. They had to draw attention away from Anonymous. Sensing this, the young man realized just how bloody of a mess he could clean up using his own overwhelming power. The hero wanted nothing more than to completely erase this foreign division for daring to attack them. The Chinese players cheered, thrilled to finally stand alongside their legendary Anonymous. But the enemy leader sneered, calling him an idiot. He immediately ordered all his troops to burn this guy to ashes, furious for being kept waiting for 7 long hours. And get this, every single enemy unleashed their attacks on him, but did practically zero damage. It was like tickling him. Every skill thrown at the hero proved completely useless against the legendary Lamar. Most players had no clue what was happening. Meanwhile, his own allies stared in awe, realizing just how absurdly powerful their leader was. The enemy leader gritted his teeth, claiming the only real difference between them was that this guy possessed divine beasts, assuming it was Anonymous who hoarded them all. The young man thanked everyone who showed up, promising to return everything they lost 100-fold. He told them to endure the humiliation just a bit longer. Lamar quickly activated his wind movement, chaining a host of devastating skills that made the enemy panic from the damage per second. Entire squads of players vaporized instantly under his overwhelming onslaught. The young man cut down everyone in his path, showing absolutely zero mercy. The flashing skill effects completely blinded the foreigners, leaving them in total chaos. An enemy yelled not to worry, boasting about his vice president rank. Suddenly, the boy felt a cold blade pressing right against his face. The hero calmly spoke up, calling his earlier boasts complete nonsense, unable to comprehend their massive power gap. The enemy's top elite players began suffering immense damage from critical strikes and deadly poison. The boy did not care about the feelings of his enemies. In the heat of battle, focused solely on crushing everyone in his way. With one swift sweep, the hero could easily overpower any target around him. All he needed was the intent to kill. The Chinese players completely worshipped Anonymous, who turned out to be a godlike ally, wiping out entire enemy coalitions alone. After 30 minutes of slaughter, the hero briefly stepped away, asking his allies to quickly gather all the dropped loot. The players stared at the massive pile of gear. They barely saved any gear from the enemy attacks, but Lamar wanted to use what was left as bait. No one expected Anonymous to set a trap, but his allies trusted in his absolute strength. The mysterious hero thanked anyone who could help him set future traps, deciding to head straight over to his sister. Meanwhile, the girl hoped her brother's friend wouldn't show up since she was surrounded by a hostile group of foreign players. But the young man arrived instantly, launching a sudden battle against the bullies. Monica froze. She could not believe this powerhouse was her brother's friend. She had never expected to meet such an incredibly powerful player. Lamar wiped everyone out instantly, handing all the dropped loot over to her. This gear would easily cover the valuable shards she had lost, and then some. Monica was still stunned that this absolute powerhouse was her brother's close friend. Lamar just smiled, telling her that she should really be thanking her brother instead. Then the young man noticed that the entrance to the dungeon was finally clear. They rejoiced. The legendary Anonymous had finally returned to lead them. They quickly gathered up the weapons. Now, Lamar wanted to set the bait for these annoying foreigners, using some recently acquired tiger tears. Such a massive trap would make any player think twice before crossing him. Lara suggested they notify the overseas servers, who had gathered thousands of elites, to wipe them out, wanting to see if they dared to face them. Laura openly challenged the garbage players from the foreign server, stating that their gear was in Area 122, daring them to retrieve it. The enemies quickly verified that their biggest threat, the legendary Anonymous, had seemingly left his blades behind, making it safe to recover their gear. Lara monitored the situation closely, ensuring the foreign players were biting the bait. They returned, one by one. The foreign players walked into the trap. Lara urged the mysterious Anonymous to keep pushing forward with his immense power. Lamar ordered his team to grab their weapons and march straight ahead. Monica told him to stay safe, while Lamar warned the foreign server, show some humility. The battle was about to begin as they marched straight toward him, unaware that he was eagerly waiting to wipe them out. Lamar immediately unleashed his devastating tiger, descending the mountain technique, combining it with the incense roar and the azure flame of true fire. The invaders were absolutely terrified by the divine power of this unstoppable hero. The Chinese players cheered. Anonymous was absolutely dominating the battlefield, mowing down his enemies like he was just clearing his own lawn. Lamar realized these foreigners were the ones who attacked players during the double experience event in China. The enemy leader couldn't understand his supreme arrogance, claiming he only relied on beasts and would be nothing without them. Hearing this, Lamar realized these foreign players truly believed he was weak. Delusional fools, he was about to show them his true strength. Lamar turned to his teammates, asking them how high their levels would look if not for the recent server-wide task delays they faced. His allies agreed their current levels would be far higher by now. But even with this setback, they were ready to crush the event. In this event, China was still losing, but Lamar knew it was just a game. He did not plan to take things seriously, but these guys ended up pushing his buttons. Now he was absolutely furious and determined to teach these arrogant players a lesson. Within 5 days, the enemy would pay compensation and apologize to everyone. But those players thought Anonymous was completely insane for demanding such a thing. They refused to pay or apologize, telling him to stop dreaming about it. Yet our hero was willing to bet they would beg for forgiveness even sooner. In less than 5 days, he would make sure of their absolute destruction. Lamar had unlocked some incredible abilities to deal with these Western trolls. They did not appreciate anyone else's hard work, but Lena still admired him. She still saw Anonymous as her idol, even with all this foreign chaos. The massive commotion meant their plans to close the level gap were ruined. But Lamar told her not to worry, because he already had another plan. Feeling a bit exhausted, he decided it was time to log off and rest. A good night's sleep would let him return later with full power. He might have missed his chance to farm gold in the Tiger Dungeon. But his promises were absolute, and anyone who insulted his country was dead. The entrance to the mythical, lost Garden of Eden had to be close. Lamar was completely certain that the hidden dungeon entrance was located right nearby. Ready to kick off the real battle, he stepped toward the ancient ruins. He wanted these fools to witness the true price of their disrespect. Suddenly, a massive system announcement flashed across the screens of all players. Anonymous had successfully discovered the lost Garden of Eden, revealing its coordinates. Most people had no idea this quest would trigger a server merge. Then they spotted the Divine Beast quest, which was right in front of them. A single player was expected to hold off 10,000 raging enemies. But Lamar decided to stand his ground and watch how they handled it. He warned everyone to watch out for the deadly, creeping toxic mist. As wild monsters began spawning everywhere, the squad searched for the entrance. Finding the hidden gate of Eden was proving tough, even for them. Nearby players were already battling highly mutated beasts with insane power levels. Their commander ordered a live broadcast so everyone could see the fight. He wanted the rival server to watch them take down the boss. Lara was shocked that the Korean squad had actually found the entrance. Defeating a legendary divine beast would grant them immense strength. They felt unstoppable, leaving the other players feeling completely defeated and empty. But Lamar was already one step ahead of the entire Korean vanguard. He pulled out an in-game translator to deliver a chilling warning. If they wanted to enter Eden, they would have to face him. They instantly recognized that signature purple gear of the legendary warrior. His allies celebrated, thrilled to see their hero back in action. Fans were swooning over him, while the enemy leader noticed a problem. The thick acid mist was actively corroding his high-tier gear. Sensing an advantage, they swarmed him like a pack of wolves. They launched a heavy assault, completely unaware of his real power. He turned out to be a monster werewolf, with the mist buffing him whenever he destroyed players. Everyone assumed the anonymous player's damage had spiked, though it felt incredibly strange. Normally, fighting in the thick fog is supposed to lower your overall attack power. Yet the players could not comprehend how this hero was hitting even harder now. Not human, the boy coldly ordered them to surrender. He warned that staying meant complete annihilation, leaving the opposing team totally shocked. They never expected this new boss to be even more epic than the last one. That previous boss had taken on an army of 10,000 men alone. Monica watched in awe, finding the anonymous guy incredibly cool as an hour slipped by. Soon, the boy noticed the fog was eating away at his gear durability way too fast. They realized Lamar was insanely powerful, brutally crushing opponents with nothing but his bare fists. Even their legendary Korean leader had absolutely no clue where this crazy level of strength originated. A true hero refused to negotiate since his time limit to destroy the Korean server remained active. The opposing guild leader demanded to know if the boy realized who he was dealing with in reality. Leave or die, our hero gave them no other choice. Accepting defeat, the enemy leader retreated. After they left, the boy told his companion dragon to stay alert. Stay alert, he warned. By morning, things were quiet. The boy was quite glad they did not dare to launch another attack against him. He realized his dark fog had already drifted into the heart of the main city. Inside that metropolis, the desperate players realized their entire server was practically doomed. Despair sets in. Soon, guild representatives gathered before him. They officially represented the top alliance of the Korean guild. Bowing down, they offered a sincere apology for how their players treated him. His allies were thrilled to finally receive respect from a server that used to mock them. They owed this victory to the anonymous player who single-handedly crushed the server. However, the hero coldly warned the alliance that they needed to leave his site immediately. Leave or die, the leader stood frozen in disbelief. He argued that a true winner would not act so ruthlessly, making our hero laugh out loud. It was hilarious considering 7 separate nations had previously teamed up to invade China. They expected to walk away unscathed, but the leader claimed the boy was breaking every gameplay rule. No rules apply here, the hero pointed out their hypocrisy. When they were busy pillaging China, they certainly did not care about the rules. Besides, compared to their brutal invasion, Lamar was actually being quite merciful. The chairman insisted that Anonymous should just pack up and leave their server alone. But the hero wanted to test their actual sincerity, so he ordered them to get lost again. Let us talk, the boy ignored him completely. He wanted to see how the other foreign servers would react to this situation. Meanwhile, a girl started a stream at the request of the Japanese chairman. They needed to decide what to do about the guilds that had previously targeted China. Surprisingly, they welcomed the Chinese players and offered a very deep apology. They begged for forgiveness for their past actions, leaving the female streamer completely baffled. She could not understand why the Japanese server had suddenly changed its tune. Panic sets in. They knew Anonymous was coming for them next. As a peace offering, they would hand over all their best gear. They desperately hoped this generous gift would compensate for the heavy losses from before. It turned out this was massive compensation, meant specifically for the Chinese players. Similar compensation would go to 300 other regions. He begged Miss Lara for help. He wanted her to ask the anonymous player to spare the Japanese server. She agreed to talk to the mysterious hero. Then Lara turned to her audience. Asking if they saw that, she declared their Chinese server was no pushover. Suddenly, players from 5 other countries desperately tried to contact her. They believed they finally had a shot at getting high-tier gear. She decided to act. Her goal was contacting the Chinese guild to distribute the gear fairly. But peace was short-lived because their city was completely choked in thick poison fog. The leader managed to reach the Chinese guild chairman to contact the anonymous player. But the anonymous hero rejected their first apology, so they begged again. They openly admitted their massive mistake, desperate to make things right. Desperately offering compensation, they begged him to let them go. The hero coldly questioned if they actually understood what they did wrong. He was not letting them off easily after helping them find the poison mist forest. Now he demanded 4 divine beasts on top of the usual regional compensation. The panicked guild leader desperately suggested giving him double or even triple that. But Lamar had absolutely no intention of negotiating with these guys. He reminded them that without his help, they never would have found this forest. After warning them not to make him regret his kindness, the leader finally agreed. With the deal done, Lamar suggested they go notify the Chinese server guilds. He wanted the Iron Blood, Red Legion, Black Hawk, and Wild Waves guilds to send people. Players from every faction were absolutely thrilled to meet the legendary anonymous player. They gathered around him, praising his insane strength and treating him like an idol. The young man told them to follow him inside to claim their divine beasts. One of the players hesitantly asked if they should guard the main entrance. Lamar shook his head. He wanted to see if these guys would actually keep their promise. He prepared to head out with the group, while the Korean players urged extreme caution. Meanwhile, Lamar was glad to see the deadly poison mist had finally cleared up. The leader ordered his men inside and commanded others to send the promised compensation. Honestly, these past 2 days had been quite exhausting for our hero. Thankfully, he managed to recover, and his right leg was almost entirely healed. However, his left leg still needed a bit more time. Confident that leveling up would fix it, Lamar asked Monica to wait just a bit longer. He promised he would be back on his feet soon, but first, he checked the market. Just as he figured, gear prices had plummeted by 75%. It was an incredible outcome, but he still needed to focus on leveling up his team. Once they got stronger, making serious cash would be an absolute breeze. He was quite amazed by a new feature that let him swap high-tier gear. Next, he suggested his squad conquer another Hell Tower before heading to the Tiger King dungeon. After 9 intense dungeon sweeps, he spent 830,000 coins on materials. He successfully gained a level, but he reached the entry limit for that specific dungeon. Meanwhile, foreign servers began dumping high-value equipment onto the market. Legendary items like Shadow of the Storm and Mithril swords were now up for grabs. This was his golden opportunity to finally sell the 42 items he had hoarded. Mithril swords, 27 Storm Shadow cloaks, 26 Dark Frost cloaks, and 24 Night Greaves. They had to go as complete sets, along with 25 Tiger Cry drops. Lamar was already getting a headache, just wanting to auction everything off. He decided to coordinate with the Wildwave Guild, sending out a massive announcement. The grand auction would start tonight at 8 o'clock, thrilling the local player base. Just the thought of Brother Anonymous listing such incredibly rare loot was enough. He was even selling tiger tears. Lamar immediately thanked the massive crowd. Since everyone was busy grinding, he skipped the small talk to present the mithril swords. Starting bids opened at 20,000 coins, with minimum increments of 1,000. Eager buyers immediately scrambled to claim the gear. Lamar was absolutely stunned. He had no idea mithril swords would be this popular. Soon, 13 sets sold for over 5,000 coins each, followed by 3 Storm Shadow cloaks. They went for a staggering 81,000. Next up were the Dark Frost cloaks. No one had ever laid eyes on these greaves before, so Lamar displayed their stats. Revealing these attributes proved this gear could easily skyrocket any average player's progression. Bidders stared in absolute disbelief at the Dark Frost cloak's incredible stats. People quickly went wild, throwing down massive bids to secure the gear. Everyone wanted a piece of this rare drop. Lamar called for their attention, warning them that only 2 of these high-tier cloaks were up for grabs. Lamar set the opening bid at 100,000, wondering if it was actually too high. The best equipment hadn't even been revealed yet, but Lamar easily sold the set for a massive 100,000 coins. Then he introduced the next items. These greaves and cloaks from the Tiger King dungeon boasted incredibly high quality. Lamar confidently set the initial bidding price at 100,000 coins. Bids immediately began skyrocketing, paving the way for the legendary Tiger set. These items possessed god-tier stats, making them the ultimate tools for top-tier professionals. Loot like this absolutely deserved its status as rare, epic purple-grade gear. The passive attributes and special effects on them were just straight-up broken. Every pro wanted to claim the weapon, but most feared their pockets weren't deep enough. Everyone was holding their breath as Lamar kicked things off with a starting price of 150,000 before auctioning off 60 tiger blood drops. He also put up 20 tiger heads, knowing some lucky buyer would hit the jackpot. Within minutes, Lamar successfully cleared out his entire stock, eager to calculate his earnings. When he finally tallied the final profits, the young man received a massive shock. He had made 14 million coins. Lamar and Monica were finally truly rich. Staring at the screen, he suddenly noticed that his broken leg was fully healed. Now he could finally buy Monica her dream villa and give her the ultimate surprise. Back when he first logged on, he only hoped to make 3,000 to 4,000 monthly. Just enough to keep a roof over their heads and put decent food on the table. He never dreamed he'd pull in 10 million, yet his stubborn sister was still working overtime every single day to support him, having absolutely no idea that her brother was about to buy her a luxury estate. Right then, she was looking at the finest properties in their office catalog, trying to help a wealthy client. Her snide coworker whispered, mocking her for having good looks when she couldn't sell a house and faced getting fired. The coworker agreed, knowing the sleazy manager had his eyes on the poor girl. She refused his advances, leaving the other staff whispering about another career laid to rest. Lamar had no idea what kind of toxic drama ruled this office, but Siami caught his eye. The snobbish employee dismissed him as just another clueless troublemaker, not even worth her time. She told her colleague to let Siami deal with this broke fool who probably wanted a discount. Stepping in, Siami warmly greeted Lamar, asking if he wanted a middle or upper-class apartment. But Lamar immediately threw a curveball, asking to look at their high-end villas. He instantly recognized her face, Siami, his old middle school classmate, now working as a consultant. Siami explained that the luxury villa was fully furnished and ready for immediate purchase. She offered to show him around the property herself. Lamar smiled. He told her to take him there straight away. She happily agreed, offering to drive him over, but Lamar admitted he did not have a car. The other agents scoffed, a guy with no car buying a luxury villa. In the exclusive diamond complex, no less, it smelled incredibly fishy to them. Her coworker agreed, calling Siami a complete fool for wasting her time. Siami warned him the villa area was quite far, but offered a unique alternative. If he did not mind, they could double up on her electric scooter. Lamar agreed. Lamar wondered if she truly did not recognize her former classmate from Lamar High School. Siami admitted she had heard about his terrible accident back then. He confirmed he was paralyzed back then, but was fully recovered now, quickly changing the subject to her. Siami sighed, admitting her own situation was a very long, messy story. Lamar quickly put the pieces together and realized the manager was deliberately tormenting her. Siami agreed, confessing she could not survive at this miserable job for much longer. Lamar smiled, "Do not worry." He immediately contacted Jean to address this blatant mistreatment of the company staff. Jean reminded him of the special card he gave him, which would easily fix everything. Lamar could use it to destroy the manager's career. Thanking him, the young man felt confident he could handle the manager on his own if needed. Jean chuckled, warning the young man not to show off too much. But Lamar was fully confident, ready to secure the villa contract on his own terms. Suddenly, he overheard that the manager was planning to fire Siami immediately. Manager noticed Lamar was not just buying a house, but actively interfering in office matters. The snobby coworker chimed in, claiming Lamar was clearly a fake buyer. She pointed out he did not even have a car and was clearly too close to Siamese. The manager smirked, figuring Lamar was just her boyfriend trying to play hero. He assumed Lamar was just playing her white knight. Lamar just smiled. What was the big deal? The manager mocked his confidence, laughing at the kid's foolish bravery. He warned Lamar that he had no idea whose territory he was invading. Siamese panicked. She begged Lamar to let it go and leave. But get this, Lamar wasn't backing down, determined to settle the score. He pulled out a black diamond card, completely catching the arrogant manager off guard. The manager stared in absolute shock, having never laid eyes on one before. Lamar chuckled, saying this was a typical reaction for people of his low status. He challenged the manager to call his superiors to verify the card. That was too easy. The employee apologized for the trouble, but then decided to ask if he had ever heard of the legendary diamond card. The boss paused, stunned. Dealing with such a client required his personal touch, indicating how grand this was. A card like that was big legs, leaving the staff completely frozen on what to do next. The guards could not understand who dared cause trouble in this elite diamond residence. Panicking, the manager instantly ordered the security guards to get lost right away. The boss questioned why he was not called earlier, but the manager claimed it was just verification. The manager repeatedly apologized, deeply regretting that he had been so blind. He failed to recognize such a VIP. Employee Verve watched in total shock. The arrogant manager was literally crying in front of this customer. The man begged for patience. He set his boss aside, wanting to talk to the VIP directly while swallowing his pride. He completely forgot his earlier claims that a young punk had no right to speak to him. The manager begged to ignore the small details that should not trouble their boss. Instead, the boss demanded to know who this legendary diamond card holder was. Our hero stepped up, informing the general manager about a tiny issue. It was a minor problem, but one he hoped the boss could resolve for him and his girlfriend. The boss did not need to hear another word, instantly cutting the manager off. He declared that the firm could never employ such trash, firing him on the spot. The boss then turned to the toxic female employee, telling her to grab her paycheck and get out. With the trash cleared, the chief appointed Siamese as the new manager. He then apologized profusely for the terrible shopping experience at their luxury complex. To make amends, he offered 30% off from the card, plus another 30% for compensation. Talk about hitting the jackpot. He paid less than half the price, saving millions. His girlfriend was completely starstruck, thanking him for pulling off such an incredible feat. He asked her not to overpraise him, but she suddenly asked if he played that viral game. He agreed, suggesting they meet up in-game if destiny brought them together. Now our hero had a massive villa secured, promising his sister they would move in soon. Once they settled in, he logged back into the game, having just reached level 17. But at this level, he could no longer easily defeat the formidable Tiger King. To grind some serious experience, he needed to tackle the challenges of the Thousand Towers. While exploring, he never expected to stumble upon a hidden stone gate leading to a new zone. Suddenly, a ghost girl appeared, a sorrowful soul begging for help from any kind player. He approached her, asking if she had a quest, and she was more than happy to oblige. But there was a catch. These dangerous tasks had to be completed entirely alone. The system prompted him to defeat the resurrected spirits for a level 22 quest. He had not expected to find the legendary ancient heart here, but he desperately wanted it. Our hero Lamar soon tracked down the target monsters, and they looked terrifying. These shrieking spirits were all level 22, making this a highly dangerous zone. This was an elite tier challenge, and he quickly realized these monsters had a trick. They were completely immune to standard physical strikes, so he tried unleashing his magic. The spell actually managed to damage the flying ghosts, giving him a solid lead. Since physical strikes were useless, he had to rely on his special gear effect. The legendary Tiger Tears accessory could convert his heavy physical blows into magical damage. Unsheathing his twin tiger blades, he swung with everything he had, finally landing some hits. His brute magic strikes landed, but his poison status was completely useless. The spirits never expected their opponent to be this incredibly strong. A system alert congratulates him for defeating level 22 elite spirits. This battle scores him loads of top-tier monster materials. It was definitely A brutal struggle to fight them solo, but the reward he claims is rare scorpion lion essence, which allows his spirit beast to grow. Suddenly, a wild mountain tiger descends, but its roar has an insanely long cooldown. Gathering 250 pieces is going to take him forever, but despite the painful grind, our hero is determined to reach his goal and finish this. 10 hours of non-stop hunting later, the ghost girl thanks him. This is brilliant news for him because he now possesses an ancient heart, the key to boosting his attributes to another level. But as he tries to fuse with it, the system issues a warning. Human flesh cannot handle such overwhelming power. It must be shed. Lamar reveals his beastly form, wondering why the ghost girl flinches. She is a ghost herself, yet she is still terrified. He checks his newly upgraded stats, and the gains from his new ancient heart are absolutely staggering, boosting his abilities to levels that would leave anyone completely stunned. He is now level 18, earning a level 5 shard. He wonders what other missions are active. Smiling, he tells the weeping spirit to stop crying and just explain the next step, but he quickly realizes it is useless. He desperately wants to look human again, wondering if he is really so hideous that even a phantom weeps. He asks her to repeat the quest details. She relents, asking him to help her destroy 3,000 more resurrected ghosts. Lamar is completely shocked by the massive scale. Defeating even one takes serious effort, yet he still accepts the challenge, calling the spirit ruthless. Lamar decides to pair his class with the tower bloodline, hoping to unlock some much-needed magical damage. He then activates a level 4 undead talent, stripping the physical defense of all surrounding monsters by 15%. He charges directly into the horde, slashing with everything he has. The spirits quickly crumble before his sheer power, especially since he utilizes his skeleton's magical heads. Now Lamar can blast 6 different targets at once. This is insanely effective against these ghouls, allowing him to easily mop them up. But wait, let's see how the other players are doing. They are grinding incredibly quickly, with some already reaching level 16. Lamar hopes to loot their high-tier gear soon. 3 days later, he hits level 19. After finishing a rapid-fire quest, he regrets that no loot dropped, but he leaves the gates to find new missions. Lamar soon spots strange movements in a faraway valley, indicating a massive monster nest. Countless beasts are gathered in one spot, performing some sort of sinister ritual. Amongst themselves, thousands of monsters stand completely frozen in place, obediently waiting for their master. Elite phantoms slowly patrol the perimeter, clearly planning a dangerous raid with the beasts. Suddenly, they all bow in unison, welcoming an arriving general. This terrifying leader turns out to be Sibin's level 27 Vanguard commander, leading the resurrected undead forces. Our hero did not anticipate facing such a dangerous boss today. Lamar really hoped he wouldn't have to face that massive brute just yet. Meanwhile, the monsters begged the grand undead deity to accept their lives to fuel his return. Cinnabis activated a legendary territory relic, absorbing a massive wave of power. One by one, the beasts vanished, feeding their entire essence to the mighty overlord. Lamar never expected these creatures to willingly sacrifice themselves for their boss. Right now, he stood zero chance, so he considered hunting for other quests first. Once safely back, the grateful spirit thanked the noble fighter for his timely help. Lamar knew that with these newly acquired ancient shards, he could finally upgrade 2 of his main talents, selecting a defensive critical strike and merging it with the tiger demon attack. The system quickly confirmed the upgrades of his werewolf bloodline and inferior tiger demon trait. Lamar was thrilled, because a triple crit combined with a triple combo would be absolutely lethal. Now he needed to grab another quest quickly to farm more ancient fragments. Lamar asked the spirit if she had any other tasks he could assist with. She appreciated everything her savior had already done and hesitated to burden him further. But since he insisted, she unlocked a highly dangerous, high-stakes quest. Without hesitation, Lamar accepted the risk. The worried spirit warned him to be extremely careful. The system triggered the mana theft quest with a massive objective: to steal 500,000 units of mana harvested from absorbed souls. If he steals that, he will pocket an extra 100,000 mana. That is more than enough to raise a divine beast, meaning a massive showdown is inevitable. The true form of Cinnabis had not emerged yet, leaving Lamar to plan his heist. He figured his best bet was to sneak in closer to the source. Luckily, there was a visible flaw in the quest design for players to exploit. Lamar sat down to meditate right there, focusing entirely on refining his energy. He managed to siphon massive amounts of pure mana, completely exceeding his expectations. The siphoning technique was incredibly fast. The true undead lord would hate this theft. Disrupting his precious mana gathering ritual would make him furious, so the young warrior began chanting a sacred human prayer, hoping to mask his presence from the boss. If he could stay hidden, he could siphon the energy safely. Then, Lamar took action. He boldly activated the ancient sanctuary of the undead lord. The monster was stunned. He never expected such an audacious move from a mere player. The artifact backlash was way too strong, suddenly exposing another presence. Lamar realized he needed to fall back instantly before the behemoth spotted him. Safe for now, he eagerly asked the spirit if there were harder trials. She was shocked that her savior was actually willing to help her kill the dread Lord Cinnabis. It turned out he was incredibly kind after all. At first, Lamar assumed she should have hired a far stronger adventurer. But the spirit urged him not to fear, explaining that once he drains the mana, Cinnabis will only have 1/10 of his original strength remaining. Hearing that, Lamar realized he actually stood a fighting chance and agreed. The spirit explained that once Cinnabis falls, the gates of the dead will open, which is a crucial step toward locating the legendary gates of Ragnarok. This was the exact dungeon Lamar had to clear for his primary quest line. Just then, the system registered a unique trial, Divine Blood and Demon Seed. To collect 4 absolute wild beasts that had been disemboweled, the young man agreed to take on this quest. She was pretty impressed with his player's determination, asking him not to leave because she would help him. The system asked the hero to weaken the main lord at just the perfect moment to finish him off. He was also going to get a purple ghost pet. Lamar didn't understand why there were no bosses or monsters. He almost forgot to ask what skills the spirit had. He brightened up, thinking through battle tactics, but the girl suddenly ducked down the slope. Though the boy asked her not to act alone, he still decided to follow the spirit and watch her tactics. As the battle progressed, Lamar and the girl found a core in the center of the formation that activated something. However, the girl warned him not to touch it. Lamar wondered why, but she asked if he knew about the 3 divine cores, which he had never heard of. Knowing only about the dragon core, it turned out the 3 divine cores consisted of the energy core, the purple core, and the world avoidance.